It's your boy Matty Warburg, aka the 21st century success story after the biggest weekend in Australian wrestling history. This A-plus athlete is congratulating the B-plus 100 episodes of their podcast. For some reason, I haven't been on any of them. I don't know what that is. You guys must hate listeners or, but maybe by 200. Maybe by 200 you'll have me on. We'll see.
Hey, this is Impressive Indy Hartwell, and I'd just like to congratulate the B Plus podcast on 100 episodes. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to everyone who came out this past weekend to support Australian wrestling.
This is the Wolf Dog from Riot City Wrestling. The big congratulations going out to the B Plus podcast and their incredible 100 episodes of awesomeness that are all in the can. Thanks very much for letting me be part of that. And a big congratulations goes out to all the incredible Aussie talents this last weekend, not only in the WWE, but all around the world. Australian wrestling is getting out there, and it's great to see.
This is the Beach Bum Buddha, Jackson Kelly speaking, and a huge shout out to the B Plus podcast. Raise the bat, boys. You've reached episode number 100. Now, I've been asked my opinion on the Super Showdown, and if my opinion is worth anything, which it is, it's worth quite a bit. I believe that show has just shown us what the mecca of Australian professional wrestling is. It's what everyone should be working towards. So congrats, Buddy Murphy. Congrats, Iconics. You have laid down the challenge.
Hey guys, it's Lena Cross. I just want to congratulate B Plus on reaching a massive milestone of 100 episodes. And here's to the next 100. Good job, guys.
This is Gavin McGavin here, the first ever Grand Slam champion, the EPW champion, just about to leave Melbourne after a massive weekend of Aussie wrestling. And I just want to say, hey, congrats, B Plus, on 100 episodes. That's almost as impressive as me. But not quite. Not quite. Because I am better than you. And if you want to find out why, check me out in RCW in your hometown of Adelaide this weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Hold one. Andre!
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list. Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. On bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three. Tomas covers. Three-handle family Gradunzo.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Number 4, armbar.
I will never retire! I still got 200 more! I got 200 more holes to list!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for episode 100 of the B Plus Podcast. I am joined by Big Boy Mikey.
Yo.
And CJ.
Hey, buddy.
We are going to do a bit of a round table, a triangle table. Is it a triangle table? There's only 3 of us.
Triangle table.
Yeah, it's a triangle table. It's a pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme.
It's a three-way dance.
It's a 3-way dance. This is the triple threat, episode 100, Super ShowDashDown, SooperDooper Spectacular, Aussie.
Oi.
That's right. So, in case you don't know, this weekend was a huge weekend for Australian wrestling. Huge. And it just so happened to coincide with our 100th motherfucking episode. So we're having a podcast party over here.
Yeah, it's a great feeling to hit the landmark, I tell you that.
100.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be fair, you guys haven't done 100 episodes, right?
Oh,
I've done 100 episodes.
Good
But
feeling
Mikey-
nonetheless.
But Mikey, you've been here with me since day one, man.
Yeah, I'm OG.
Like we have episode for us. This is actually like episode 104, I think, because we have episode -1, 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
they're those ones that never actually came to air. They were the beta betas.
Yeah, and it should never come to air. But anyway,
Yeah, that was when we thought that we could talk about everything in one podcast.
yeah, good times.
A week.
Yeah.
And the one podcast went for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then I had to try to edit it down to like an hour and a half so it was listenable. And it was, quite honestly, it was trash.
I'm not going to lie. I'd listen to that.
Did I ever even send it to you to listen to, Mikey?
I don't know, but I probably would have turned it off after a minute.
Because our quality was really bad then too. Like I had this mic, but that was before you got a mic and before we got onto the Zencaster program as well. Shout out to Zencaster for upping our quality game massively around the episode 10 mark.
And shout out to Zencaster for putting up with my late payments. But anyway,
Mate, you're going a bit too far behind the curtain there. We're trying to put forward a respectable veneer of professionality here. Is that a word? Professionalism. That's the word I'm looking for. English.
speaking of English,
Big weekend. Big weekend, not just for us here at the B Plus podcast, but for every wrestling fan in Australia, because some little company, I don't know if you've heard of them, was it the World Wildlife Fund? I think it was.
oh yeah,
They put on a...
Close.
is it
Close.
WWF?
Yeah, those guys. No, Vinnie Mac and crew came down and they put on a bit of a show, you know.
Yeah,
Just 70 fucking thousand
Yep.
people at the MCG.
mate.
And we're going to get to that. But before that, it was also a really big weekend for Aussie wrestlers. So because they knew there were going to be so many wrestling fans in Melbourne that day, that weekend, for the trip, they wanted to make sure that they put on a couple of shows as well. So Melbourne City Wrestling capitalized on the Friday night. They held Melbourne City Wrestling New Horizons. It was the best. I sound like Chris Traeger, anyone who watches Parks and Rec. It was the best wrestling show I've ever been to. Hands down, without a doubt, it blew everything that happened Saturday night out of the water. It was the real main event. It was a fantastic fucking show. Neither of you guys made it. You guys were still on your way down.
Yeah.
But it was such a great show. And so I'm going to go over and talk to Jamie Apps from Jamie Apps Media, friends of the show. And he and I are going to sit down tomorrow and have a talk about Melbourne City Wrestling and the following day's Wrestle Rock Wrestle Brunch. But through the magic of editing, I'm going to travel through time right now. It's going to be tomorrow, and I'm going to talk to Jamie. See you in a few minutes. All right, I have traveled through time. It is now the next day from what you were just listening to, and I was supposed to be talking to Lyle from On the Turnbuckle, but unfortunately some things came up and he was unable to join me. So instead, last minute, Jamie Apps from Jamie Apps Media has decided to join us. Jamie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Finally caught up on some sleep, so I'm good now.
Yeah, see, I'm still catching up on the sleep. I've it was good to get home and hang out with the kids and everything, because that was the longest I'd ever been away from the kids, that 4 days.
Oh, that would have been tough.
It was tough for both of us. Like by the second night, I was getting, voice memos from the partner with the kid crying, like, I just want daddy. And I'm like, oh, it broke my heart. But I was having a really good time in Melbourne anyway. So, and so I FaceTimed and all that sort of stuff, and it was okay.
Yep.
It was okay. But yeah, so I've been hanging out with them and playing and then trying to catch up on the podcast stuff. But sleep has kind of still evaded me at this point.
Especially with New Japan last night, I imagine.
Oh man, yeah. Let's talk about it quickly. Robbie.
I am absolutely amazed. I'm seriously considering going, but because it's so last minute, I don't think I'll be able to, but I really want to.
Yeah, you're looking into it, are you?
Yeah.
Living the dream. So you just went to Bowler, and then you've gone to Super Showdown. Now you're thinking of heading over for the Super Junior tag.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of want to go to those first 2 nights in Korakuen just to be there for his New Japan debut, but because it's literally like 5 days away.
Yeah, wouldn't you want to take the gamble and be like, I think they're going to make the finals?
Yeah, I think buying tickets to Bowler or flights to Bowler without tickets was a big enough gamble for this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking forward to the inevitable Taiji and Robbie double shoey when they get their first win.
Oh, goodness.
It's got to happen, right?
It probably will now that Robbie's made that a thing for himself.
Did you see on Instagram this morning, Robbie they just posted a story. He's like, "Oh, I think it's a bit appropriate this morning. I start my day with a bulletproof coffee.
Yep.
It's almost too sweet." And I was just like, "You cheesy motherfucker." Love it. So seriously, I said it to him. I said it to him last night when the news broke. It couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. Like, he's such a legend.
Absolutely.
And he kayfabed me hard. I interviewed him last week for the podcast, the Go Home podcast before MCW, and he kayfabed me hard because he dropped some clues. And then when we went off air, I was like, "You're talking about being more OG than Gino. You're the partner, right? You're the partner." And he's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. No one has spoken to me about anything." And he kayfabed me hard. Like, I actually, by the end of our conversation off air, I actually believed him. I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe nothing's happening. You bastard."
He got you good.
Yeah, he got me good. He's good at what he does. And let's talk about that, because he was in the main event at MCW New Horizons, which you were there for. I was there for. This was the main event of the weekend, not Super Showdown. Let's be honest.
100%. It was easily the best match of the entire weekend.
Yeah. So we're talking, of course, about Robbie Eagles versus Gino Gambino. But I think we'll get to it. Let's run through the entire card. So this was my first Melbourne City Wrestling event.
Okay. It was my third or fourth now, I think.
Okay, cool. So I've spoken to a couple of people who have been to a few or go regularly, and they said that this one felt very different.
Absolutely. This one felt like it was on the scale of Okada last year, and that's saying something because this one had no international talents.
Yeah. I was honestly expecting, like, in the lead up, I was waiting for them to announce something big, and then going into it, I was like, you know what? I'm actually really happy that they didn't bring anyone over to try to attract, because I thought they'd bring someone to try to attract people who were coming to town to see WWE and didn't have a clue that this thing even existed, you know?
Yeah, I can see why they may have done that, but I love that they just stuck with the guys that have been there from the start and built this company into what it is.
Me too. And what I gather is there's a lot of people who watch online, like myself, from Adelaide, from Sydney, from other places, from Perth. There were a lot of guys from Perth there, and we were all there, and we're like, this is our first event, but we know all the stories, we know all the characters because we watch online, and we were super amped up, and I think we helped. I don't want to take credit, but I think we helped take the crowd to that next level.
Yeah, it definitely generated a lot of buzz with a lot of new fans there for the first time.
Yeah. So the show started off with Natural Classics versus the Untouchables, two of the best tag teams. I mean, the Natural Classics they're sort of fresh tag teaming in MCW. They've been tagging as the Phillip brothers in World Series Wrestling. But these are, easy to say, two of the best tag teams working in the country.
Yes, 100%. The Natural Classics, easily two of the hottest rising youngest stars on the circuit at the moment.
Yeah, I get amazed at how not necessarily how young, but how, like, they haven't been doing it for that long either, and it's just crazy to me how good they are.
Yeah, to be so
already.
Good so quickly is amazing.
Yeah, and so they pick up their first tag team win in MCW over the Untouchables, no less, representatives of TMDK, in what was a fantastic match.
Yep, great way to kick off the show. Got everyone right into it.
Yeah. We saw Avery and Kellyanne. Now, these two had a bit of a personal rivalry going on. Avery's been mocking Kellyanne because Kellyanne's going to be leaving the country.
Mm-hmm.
She's been dressing up like her and all sorts of fun stuff like that, stealing her moves, trying to do the cannonball. Backfired in this one.
It definitely
for the most part.
A lot of personal animosity in this one.
Yeah, there were a few points where I was pretty sure that Kellyanne legitimately killed Avery.
She definitely tried on a few of those cannonballs and suplexes and stuff.
The Hurricane Rana as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that match because of how personal the rivalry was.
Yeah, it actually felt personal too. And Avery's really great with the crowd.
Oh, 100%. The first MCW show that I went to, she was the standout in terms of getting into the crowd, getting in their face. Really getting them to hate her, even though they may not have seen her before.
Yeah, and she ended up picking up the win with some help from her mates, the Brat Pack.
Yep, as the Brat Pack tend to do.
Yeah. And then we go into a triple threat match. Now, this match, I think, impressed a lot of people. Marcus Cool, his first time over in Melbourne City Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so he's the hooligan. He's from SPW over in New Zealand. And he was taking on Mikey Broderick, who I have to admit I'm not too familiar with, but apparently he likes fitness.
Yeah, that's a new slant on the character. I've seen him in PWA before.
Yeah.
And the fitness maniac is something new.
Right. I liked it a lot. It's just doing the squats and lunging on his way to the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very funny.
Very entertaining. And of course JXT, an MCW staple, was in there as well. And these three just had a really, really fun match. At one point, the ref pulled out a yellow card.
Yep.
Because was it JXT that started it? See, at this point, I'm about 4 beers deep. I'm starting to get a little blurry.
Yeah, it was Marcus Cool took a dive, as in a football dive, got injured, so to say, went down, referee gave a yellow card.
To Mikey Broderick.
Yes,
yeah.
And then JXT, seeing that opportunity, capitalised and also took a dive and got Mikey Broderick red carded.
He got red carded. He got sent to the back.
First time I've ever seen that in a wrestling match.
It was amazing. I got a good shot of it too, like with the ref just holding up the red card, like at the peak of the moment, and him just being like, "What is going on?" It was amazing. So he got sent out. He lunged his way to the back.
Yep.
And then he came back out in the end anyway. And Marcus Cool got the win over JXT. It was a really fun match. I enjoyed this match so much.
Yeah, it was brilliant. The way they realised that they needed to do something different to stand out, and they capitalised and got it perfectly.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is, the thing I liked about this show was it really took us on, it was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, nothing felt like it was the same as something that had already been or anything that we might expect coming later.
And the crowd just kept getting hotter and hotter throughout the night, and they had, they put the right matches in the right places to cool things down, and then so that you had the time to breathe and then get really excited again. So Brat Pack, they defended their titles in a 4-team eliminator match. This one was a bit quick considering it's a 4-team eliminator match, but they ended up defeating Men for Hire, Helter Skelter, and Mike Burr. And Funtime Trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, so Mike Burr and Funtime Phil. It was a good match, but the real story here was the reunion of the Preston Kindred.
Yes, Preston and Payne back together again.
Yeah, so I'm forgetting exactly how it happened. I'm going to need a little help here, but I believe they were calling the Helter Skelter were basically saying there's a weak link, right?
Yeah, so I've forgotten his name now. The Commonwealth Games.
Jake Andrew Arthur.
Yes, so he's taken the fall, and the Helter Skelter have got into the ring, and it looked like they were going to kick him out of the group.
That's right, because where I was, everyone was thinking it was going to be Jake Andrew Arthur.
Yes,
yeah.
And then they turned, and Alan Payne just got a beating.
And he wasn't even involved.
No, he was just on the outside.
so how's he the weak link? But, why not? Yeah, so Helter Skelter kick out Alan Payne, and then Preston returns and reform. And they have a nice little moment where Alan Payne is in Preston's arms and they're back together.
Yeah, fun little reunion.
Yeah. So that was good. And then we go home for the intermission with the first, but like the big one of the big matches that people were excited for this night. Adam Brooks and Slex for the MCW Inter-Commonwealth Championship. What did you think of this one?
In-ring, incredible match. So athletic, so fast-paced. These two deserve more than what they're getting at the moment in terms of international coverage.
Yeah.
Brooks is getting a bit, but I think Slex could be the next person to break out.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Slex, with that Inter-Commonwealth Championship, he has done such a great job with that title. Like, you talk about making titles relevant. Like, I don't even see, like, when I watch the MCW Heavyweight Championship and the MCW Intercontinental Championship, they're both kind of super on, like, I don't want to say they're on par because I feel like I'm devaluing the heavyweight championship, but they're both prestigious to me.
Yeah, they're definitely both titles that everybody wants to get. They're not, okay, it's a stepping stone to the next level.
Yeah, there's no stepping stone title.
I'm a big name because I've got this title at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. It's not a stepping stone title. It's not like, oh, this was the semi-main. No, this was the main event of the first half, and then Gino Robbie were the main event for the other title. Like, they're two on-par titles, and I think a lot of that has to be credited to Slex. I mean, Brooksy and Ospreay and Robbie himself did a lot of work for that as well. But Slex's run has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the last 12 months with that title really have cemented it as one of the major titles in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this match. And given what happened the next night as well with Buddy Murphy picking up the Cruiserweight title, and so this night Brooksy picks up the Intercommonwealth Championship. I mean, to see these two best friends walk out of the weekend champions together, and they did that little Instagram photo,
That photo was just so heart touching. Like, I love that they both got their moment.
Yeah, for Aussie Graps aficionados, to see those two on the biggest weekend for wrestling in recent memory in Australia, probably living memory, not just recent memory, probably living memory. It's pretty warming, Yep.
I almost expected them to recreate the Kevin Owens in the bed photo. I was expecting one of those photos.
Something similar.
But the one they put up was lovely as well.
I don't know if I should mention this, but Buddy was there. I don't know if you noticed.
I did spot him as well. Yes.
Yeah, he was up in the balcony watching, and he raised his fist, and it was just a really nice moment to see Brooksy win that title. And it was nice I got to catch up with him at the merch desk and congratulate him, and it was just an all round good dude.
Yep. Yeah.
So couldn't happen to someone better. Now moving on, second half. I was still downstairs at the merch table when I hear Jonah Rock's music hit.
One of the greatest theme songs in Australian wrestling,
yes.
if not world wrestling.
Yeah, well, it just shakes the floor.
Yes, it's perfectly fitting for Jonah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I don't think you can have a better marriage of theme and wrestler.
No.
It's so good. So yeah, Jonah and Ugg, first time in Melbourne City wrestling.
Yes.
And Jonah evens up the score. It's now 2-2.
Yep.
So yeah, when I spoke to him the other week, he said he likes to think he has the home field advantage in MCW. He's a bit more of an MCW veteran, but the crowd were torn.
Yeah, Ugg's done amazingly recently in terms of getting people behind him. Like, that character, I thought could struggle with that in terms of getting people to love him, but everybody loves Channing Ugg.
Well, I saw him on the first time I witnessed Caveman Ugg was on Wrestling Go.
Okay, yep.
And I was like, this fits so well. Like, fits like a glove, Wrestling Go is kind of like our Chikara almost, right?
Yeah.
And so to have a caveman, absolutely. But then when I saw he's popped up in PWA as well, I was like, interesting, right? But he does a fantastic work of getting it over, and he commits to the character too.
Yes.
And it's really good to see that he can have some of the best wrestling matches in Australia. And then when you say to someone from outside, so I've got some friends in the UK, and you're like, oh man, Caveman Ugg versus Jonah Rock on the Call to Arms show, it's right up there. Like you got, like, it's a very exciting match. I know it's hard to follow Ospreay and Robbie, but they do a fantastic job of it. And people are just like, Caveman Ugg.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to sell me on right now? I don't want to hear this.
It really is one of those characters where it could have gone either way, and he's thankfully made the most of it.
Yeah, I just love it. Like, when he's in this match, they played with the crowd really well, and everyone got really excited for the second half with this match. And yeah, Ugg go flip, and then Jonah cuts him off, and he's like, no, Ugg go flop.
And then Jonah teased doing a flip himself.
Yeah, and he was like, no, I'm not gonna do
no, I'm too big for this.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun, and again, like, every match felt different, and this was just a hoss fight, but it was just so much fun. Everything about this was fun, and the next match goes close to stealing the show for just the crowd reaction alone.
Yes, it does.
Dowie James defeats Lockie Hendricks. Now, I don't know if there's anyone in Australian wrestling as over as Lockie Hendricks was on that night.
Over or hated?
Well, I mean, that's how you get if you're over as a heel.
Yeah, it's a strange marriage. It's like people love to just give him shit.
Yeah. So the nya thing, right? So he makes that sound, and so everyone's picked up on the nya, and they've made a bunch of signs. Like I got given the sign by someone, and they're just like, when he comes out, man, we're doing the nyas. So we're getting into it, and there were every wrestling chant you can think of, like the na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye, the we want Robbie, we want whatever, like we want insert name here. All of these chants were done with just nyas.
Yes.
And it's
songs with nyas. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you have to see it. Like I feel like I can't explain it, and I hope it comes across well on the show when it comes up on demand.
Definitely, because it was incredibly loud in there with the nya chants at some points during that match.
Yeah, I almost burst an eardrum. Like it was,
I think everybody was
insane.
involved in those nya chants at some point.
Yeah, and I didn't think that it was going to get any louder than that, but it did in the main event, which we'll get to, because the way they played us in that main event was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Indy Hartwell versus Shazza McKenzie, and going into the show, now, Indy and Shazza are two of my favourite Australian wrestlers. People know this. Shazza is, without a doubt, my favourite Aussie grappler, and I caught up with her after the show. And I had to apologise because I really, really, really needed to piss. And so I went to the toilet during this match, and then I was at the bar, and I watched parts of the match from the line of the bar while I was grabbing another drink. But I didn't see the good majority of this match, unfortunately. So I apologise, ladies. I love you both, and I'm sure it was a fantastic match, and I can't wait to catch it on demand. But I don't really have much to say about this match because I didn't see the entire thing live.
That is a shame because you did miss one of the best matches on the card.
I'm sure I would have.
These ladies really know how to go in that ring, and they proved it once again.
Yeah. Well, Shaz is an absolute veteran, and we talk about it with the Phillip brothers, and Indy is sort of linked there, and she is one of the greatest up-and-comers in the country, for sure.
Definitely, and like you, I've spoken to Indy recently for the magazine, and to see how far she's risen through the ranks so quickly is incredible. I can't believe she's so good already.
Yeah, I'll have to check out that interview. I haven't had a chance to interview Indy yet. I mean, it's in the pipes. Like, I've spoken to her at shows and everything, and we're definitely going to do it. It's just a matter of finding a time that makes sense. But I'll definitely have to check out that interview. But because, yeah, she's such a great bitch in the ring.
Oh, yes.
Right? But then just such a lovely person outside it. I don't want to break kayfabe here, so I'm sorry, guys. But, it's just insane to me how people can do that. I don't understand it.
Yeah, she just flips the switch as soon as she's in that ring. It's hate me as much as you want.
Yeah, and similar to Avery, I haven't spoken to Avery outside the ring though, but similar to Avery, just like one of the best when it comes to interacting with that crowd and just soaking up that heat.
Yeah. Indy and Avery both know how to fire back quickly, which is a vital part as a heel.
Yeah,
some people can't get that, but if you can snap back at someone giving you shit from a chant, it makes it so much more.
Yeah, just some of the best banter. But Indy Hartwell picks up the win there, and then we move into the main event of the evening. Gino Gambino defending the MCW Heavyweight Championship against Robbie Eagles. Now, going in, I was excited for this match, but I was probably more excited for Brooksy Slex. I thought that was going to be the best match of the night. But Gino and Robbie just blew everything out of the water with the way they paced this match.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought Slexy Brooks would be a better contest. But
yeah.
This match just took everything to a new level with their storytelling.
Yeah. And the crowd, just the ride that we all went on, it was insane. And the place literally came unhinged when Robbie finally hit the 450, right? After going up for it a couple of times and not quite getting there and all this, and he finally hits the 450 on the leg, and he gets that leg hook in, and where like the entire place lifted at once. Everyone was on their feet.
Yeah, everybody wanted him to win that. Everybody was behind him totally for that match.
Because I was in the seats, I was front row. Shout out to Yeah, shout out to Jade for hooking me up with a front row seat. I bought general admission, but she had someone pull out, and so she handed me that seat. So I was very fortunate for that.
Very lucky.
Yeah, and I was front row, and literally everyone in the seated section popped up immediately as soon as he got that leg hook on, and like people were shaking the barricades and stomping their feet, and it was insane. Like the place came unglued, and we were all so focused on Gino and Robbie. When Gino tapped, that was it.
Yep,
that was it. No one realized that the ref was actually distracted by Seb and pulled out of the ring, and there was no one there to call for the bell.
Yeah.
And so the place erupts, and then after a second, when there's no bell, we realize what's happened. We see Sebastian with the ref, and the place just instantly turns.
Yeah, there was beers thrown from the section I was in, came across over my head. There were people furious.
It was one of those moments that you live for in wrestling.
Definitely. I've never heard a crowd that loud.
Yeah, like I said, I felt like I burst one of my eardrums. My ear was ringing after this, because then as well, after the match, so Gino then ends up picking up the victory after hitting Robbie with the title. Robbie gets robbed again, and then out comes our mate with that bass shaking music, and the crowd just erupts again.
Yeah,
because Jonah's here. And Jonah's going to challenge for the MCW Heavyweight Championship at the next show. What a way to end the show.
Oh, brilliant. Perfect way to end a phenomenal evening of wrestling, really.
Yeah. I spoke to a lot of people who were just like, how we need to find a way to get back here for the next show because it's the last show of the year.
Yep.
So I got home and I immediately started looking around like, what old games can I sell? Do I have any old iPads that aren't being used? Try to get some flights over. But yeah, just hats off to Melbourne City Wrestling because honestly, I think it blew everything else from the weekend out of the water.
In terms of the overall show, definitely. Like, I cannot recommend getting to an MCW show more to anybody that loves wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously you can't compete with the spectacle that is, 70,000 people packed into a stadium. Like, just looking around, that's awe-inspiring, seeing the sheer amount, like the sheer size of it. But in terms of a story and a show and a roller coaster ride where everyone in that room, and it was sold out too, we have to say that, which I don't know how many that is, but it would have been, close to 700 people, I'm going to assume?
Yeah, it felt as packed as Okada, and that was the biggest show in history, I believe, for independent wrestling.
Yeah, and so to have everyone in that room was in unison on that ride, whereas when you're dealing with 70,000 people, you can't do that.
No, yeah, everybody in that match was everybody at that show was a hardcore fan. Everybody knew the people involved, knew all the stories, and we all wanted to see the outcomes. Whereas at the MCG, there was people there that might not watch much wrestling at all, so they weren't invested in some of those matches, which was a little bit disappointing, but what can you do with 70,000 people? You're going to get a few of those casual fans.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's why I think for me, Melbourne City Wrestling was the highlight of the weekend, because that's what wrestling is to me, is taking a group of people together on that journey. And Melbourne City Wrestling do it. They're up there with the best of the people who do it.
Yes.
So let's talk quickly. I think that that's a good place to end it. But I do kind of want to talk quickly about Wrestle Brunch as well. Did you attend Wrestle Brunch the next day?
Yes, I did. Front again, right against the rail. Got kissed by Alan Payne. That was fun.
Oh, that was you that got kissed by Alan Payne.
That was me, yes.
There you go. See, we didn't even run into each other the whole weekend. I was pretty bummed about that. I was running into so many people, and I didn't catch you anywhere. Yeah. But yeah, this show was interesting.
Yeah, it was a little bit off the wall, but I think for a day show leading up into the WWE show, that's what you needed. You just needed something fun to kick off the day.
I just loved Chris Fresh and Julia James on commentary, just constantly apologizing. Just what have we done? What have we done?
Yeah, just constantly being like, why are we doing this? What is happening in our lives right now?
But it was great, like just the irreverent jokes and the crazy action. I mean, we saw a catwalk match where CK Dowie slipped on a banana peel.
Yep. And then the two cat heads just fighting each other. And
Yeah, scratching match. They put the cat masks on, and I believe one of the cat masks was stapled to a head. So,
Yep.
But it was insane. I don't think we can explain really the show that was Wrestle Brunch. I think it's something that you got to sign up for MCW on demand and watch this show to really understand it. But it was good. There was some highlights like Taylor King making his debut from over in EPW. He's got one of my favorite gimmicks in Australian wrestling, the Child Star.
Yep. That was a fun little opening match.
Yeah. And then Robbie and Stevie had a brilliant match where they were but they took the venue and made it part of the story because the roof of the place was so low.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as I walked into that venue, I was like, oh, how are these two going to have the sort of match that we all expect?
Yeah.
And somehow they managed to deliver a great match with a roof that they couldn't even stand on the top rope, really.
So if you were the person that was kissed by Alan Payne, you also would have been right there when Stevie took that huge suicide dive, no?
Yes, I was. Stevie's foot flew above my head. I couldn't back up any further, and then his foot was right across above my head.
See, because it was amazing, because normally in a suicide dive like that, like the Tope Komahilo type of one, where they go over the top and flip, they try to get as much height as possible. But with him, you saw, like, the angle was so different to normal, and then he had to tuck. It was impressive the way they used the roof as part of the story as well, like constantly looking up, figuring out what they could do, and yeah, they did a fantastic job. And then we saw Marcus Muffinov and Brigitte, who Brigitte is one of the best workers in the country.
Oh, brilliant! I love that the crowd just wanted them to lose so badly,
and we got Jake Andrew Arthur. This is where we got a Jake Andrew Arthur turn. He's a Russian now.
He is. He's a Russian sympathizer.
He turned his back on the country.
Yeah, Commonwealth Games competitor, and now he is totally against Australia, which everybody was very angry, very, very angry at.
What are you doing, Jake? What are you doing?
What have you done?
So we're not going to go full on with Wrestle Brunch, but I definitely recommend watching it. At least for those the three matches, Mitch Waterman versus Marcus Muffinov, the catwalk match, and definitely Robbie and Stevie. The first half of the show was still good, but it's a different kind of beast. But you got to watch it to understand it.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
I was glad. I was glad I was there for it.
Yeah, me too. And it was, especially with going to the WWE straight after. It was kind of a good, like, if I'd gone from Melbourne City Wrestling one night straight to a WWE, I don't know. I feel like it was a good palate cleanser to have this in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, it was a perfect little just fun show that you could relax, have a good time and get ready for the big show later.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, it sort of rewired me from the mode I was in the night before, where all these incredible stories were coming to a head and everything was fantastic. And that's not necessarily what you're going to get at the big WWE show, even though it's what you should get. But that's for a different podcast entirely. Yes. But then to go from that to a show that's just about crazy, ridiculous spectacle, and fun and over the top shenanigans. It was a really good way to reset your expectations of, right, wrestling is a lot of different things.
Yes. Wrestling, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
Which is the best part about wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling isn't wrestling. That's the truth of it. But it was a lot of fun. I had a really good weekend. How would you sum up your weekend if you had to sum up your weekend in like one sentence?
Incredible. Like, that's another memorable weekend thanks to wrestling. So thank you, wrestling.
Yeah, awesome. And let people know where they can find you before we go home, Jamie.
You can find me at @Apsy_Jam on Twitter and Jamie Apps Media on everything else.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much for filling in for us, man, and chatting Melbourne City Wrestling.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
All right, so there you have it. Melbourne City Wrestling New Horizons stole the weekend without a doubt. It was fucking huge. But Wrestle Rock's Wrestle Brunch came very, very close in a few instances. Mikey, you came to the Wrestle Brunch with me. What did you think of it overall?
Dude, that was one of the most fun wrestling experiences I've had. Not the best. I'm saying fun.
Yeah.
That was one of the most fun shows I've ever...
Right, so Melbourne City Wrestling had some of the best wrestling of the weekend, but this wasn't technically a great wrestling show, but it was...
fun. It was what it is, and it provided that pre-show entertainment. Like, we were going into a 70,000 person PG vibe with a lot of kids and a lot of all that. So this lunchtime, just absolute swear fest and absolute PC breaking show was just
how great
so
are the
perfect.
Wrestle Rock commentators? Chris
Oh.
Fresh, Julian James, shout out. You boys are fucking hilarious together.
Oh, first off, quick shout out to the Millionaires Club.
Yes. So the show opened. So, Corey, you don't know this.
Yeah.
They opened with a cover band, the Millionaires Club,
Yeah.
right? And they just do wrestling covers.
Nice.
And
So they opened their set. They opened their set by coming out and saying, "Are you ready?" And they just started playing the DX theme song, and the crowd went mental.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got a DX theme song. We got a Dusty Rhodes one. We got Triple H. We got Sexy Boy.
I am a
Shawn
real
Michaels.
American.
We got I Am a Real American.
They closed with Roman Reigns, and then the whole crowd start just booing. It was just a perfect troll moment.
That's awesome.
Just so good.
Even as soon as they hit the Roman Reigns theme, even my wife looked at me like, "Ew, really?" I'm like, "Oh." No, look,
Everywhere.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the biggest pecs. Roman Reigns, the guy who has lots of sex. Roman.
It would have been great if they did that. If they actually put the lyrics in there with.
That would have been pretty good.
It would have suited him too, because honestly, the tone of the show was so bad. So the first match was the Wrestle Brunch All Stars, which was Cletus, Mad Dog, and Camby. And they had a match. They were supposed to go against the Lover Brats, which is Loverboy Lockie Hendricks and the Brat Pack, Mitch Waterman and Nick Berry. But Nick Berry was actually lucky enough to play an extra on the WWE show later that night. So he was chosen to go in, and he played one of the doctors that checked on Charlotte at ringside.
Right, I don't even remember that happening, but we'll talk about that later.
So shout out to Nick Berry. Congratulations, brother. You made your way onto the WWE network. It's awesome. We can hopefully one day in the future, when you make it to WWE and NXT, we can go back and be like, look who this is, like they do now with EC3 and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so Nick Berry had to pull out, and this is where the night started. Was Nick Berry's pulled out of the show, and so they had to get a replacement partner. And the commentators, who are also the bookers and creative team behind the show, they were ruthless about anyone who pulled out of this show to go work the WWE show, right? Because they're like, that fucking other mob across town. And what were some of the things they said? Like, I can't even remember, but they were talking about, pulling out early. Like Nick Berry without a rubber. Like they were trying to make jokes that he pulled out because he fucked someone without a rubber and now he had an STD. And they were just brutal, just absolutely brutal.
Way too many Bill Cosby references, but
wow, it was uncomfortable at some points. At some points, it was uncomfortable, and then they brilliantly, Julian James and Chris Fresh, just brilliantly, they go, "Look, we apologize for this. We thought you guys would be getting a lot drunker. It's the middle of the day. We don't know what the fuck we were thinking doing this." Like, they just openly acknowledge how awkward it's getting. It was brilliant.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, like, on the flip side, so that was my first time seeing a lot of these Melbourne guys live.
Yeah.
I've watched a little bit of Dowie. I've seen a little bit of Lockie Hendricks. I've seen things of Stevie Phillip, but Mitch Waterman, this is the first time I've seen Mitch Waterman. Like, I haven't really watched much of Mitch Waterman. He's phenomenal. Like, he's fantastic.
Yeah, the Brat Pack are great. Yeah.
And, and I really love the character work from Bridget, the Russian thing. Like, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, she also does the interviews for, like, MCW and EPW.
Yeah.
So she's Anna Ashley, Anna Ballard. Yeah. And her backstage interviewing is brilliant as well. Her reaction shots in some of those are fantastic. Like when she's talking to Taylor King, who came over from Perth, he was in town, and because of Nick Berry pulling out, Taylor King got a spot on this show, and he came out and did his child star gimmick, which led to many Miley Cyrus jokes.
Yeah. No, I even tweeted out to her earlier in the night, like earlier today. I said, like, it's great to see character work within guys like people like Caveman Ugg now. Like, look, I love, like, we'll speak on it a lot more later, but I love guys like Robbie and CK Dowie and, you know, Bonzes and Meridi's that. But I love I love old school character work too, like a Caveman Ugg. Just stick to it. And then, like, she put off that Russian thing, which, yes, obviously is very popular with Glow right now and Alison Brie doing it.
Yeah.
But she knocked it out of the
Yeah,
park.
and she does it so well. She does it so well.
I even, like, compared it. I'm like, oh, let's get this chick a Logie. Like, fuck. Seriously. But no, like, overall, it's a fun night. Fun day.
Fun day, yeah. It was a day. It does feel like it was a night, though. It was odd. But
yeah.
You mentioned CK Dowie there, right? Dowie James, as he would be known to the Melbourne City wrestling fans. His match with Caveman Ugg. CJ, check this out. They did a catwalk match, right?
Yeah.
Crackerjack was the special guest referee. Crackerjack's an Australian wrestling legend. He's a hardcore guy. And he came out and he was like, oh, look, this is what's going to happen for the catwalk match. And he has one of those cat heads from Kmart.
Oh, God.
And he's like, you got to put this on your head. You got to crawl around all four corners and then make your way to the stage and piss on the curtain. Because that's what cats do. And then Dowie had to explain to him, no, it's a catwalk match, like a modeling catwalk. What you've got to do is you've got to retrieve your jacket from the stand on the stage. You have to walk the stage, strike a pose, and then walk back without being interrupted. And then you win the match, right?
Yeah.
And this led to just some brilliant spots. So when Dowie had like legit $400 pants ruined. Well, he says they were $400 pants. So, you know, I'm going to go with the kayfabe and assume they were $400 pants. Ugg tried to put his suit on, his shirt on by putting his feet in it like they were pants. Like, because he's a caveman. He doesn't know what a suit is, right? It was hilarious.
Wow.
This match included both men putting cat masks on and scratching each other.
What the fuck?
It included Caveman Ugg eating a banana and throwing away the peel, which came into play later when Dowie tried to catwalk and slipped on the banana peel, a la Mario Kart.
Oh, wow.
And it also included Dowie James getting put through a door.
Oh.
Like you know how when you have a house, you have a screen door and then you have the wood door?
Yeah.
A legit wood door set up in the corner, and he had to get put through it twice because it didn't break.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
this match was incredible.
I've seen a lot of Ugg, and that was just the most bizarre part of Ugg's career I've ever watched. I've seen that guy do some funny shit in the ring and with his intros. But look, overall, it's a really fun night.
Got to touch on quickly as well. Robbie and Stevie, because they had one of the best matches of the weekend. I mean, it goes without saying.
Yeah,
Robbie.
Yeah.
But let's quickly, before we transition into Super Showdown, let's say a big congratulations to Robbie fucking Eagles.
Like, holy shit! Like
it's been announced. We called it, Mikey. Yeah. We called it months ago.
There's a little bit more that you don't know, mate. But what I'm going to say right now is, like, holy shit to Robbie. Like, well done.
Well, let's actually say it. Robbie Eagles has joined the Bullet Club OGs.
Yeah.
He's going to the New Japan Super Junior Tag League as Taiji Ishimori's tag team partner. So congratulations, Robbie Eagles.
Yeah, great to get an Aussie into that stable.
Another one. Yeah, we've got Gino.
Oh, yeah, true. Is he even officially part of it still? But yeah, anyway.
I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, no, look, it's...
I mean, Cody referenced it in a tweet. Cody referenced Gino.
Yeah, true. Now, look, like, I'm so stoked with Robbie. Like, I watched this guy for the first time nearly over a year and a half ago. Just been blown away every single match he did. Like, even on Saturday, like, he didn't need to go full out, but the guy, you know, he dives off the freaking top rope and had a roof lower than, like...
That was the lowest roof I've ever seen in a wrestling venue.
And he used the part of the roof to hold on so he could do his flip. And I'm just like, holy shit, like, you're so fucking talented, man. I'm like,
they both did that. They included the height of the roof into the story of the match. Like Stevie tried to do a springboard and he realized at the last second and had to duck down and it looked kind of botchy, and then he got up and looked up at the roof, and like they incorporated it into the story, and it was so fantastically done. I can't wait for that one to pop up on demand so I can share it with people.
And look, guys, just in case for any Aussie fans that hopefully every single Aussie fan's listening to this because it is a super Aussie cast. Don't be afraid that we're going to lose Robbie. The good thing about New Japan, a la Will Ospreay, he'll go over there for a month or 6 weeks, do his New Japan stuff, go back to the UK or come over to Australia for a couple of weeks. Robbie won't be leaving Australia full time, but he's going to be hopefully heavily featured in the New Japan storylines going forward, and especially with the Super Junior.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Hopefully between New Japan, PWG, and what he gets here in Australia, and I'd love to see him crack the UK as well, but hopefully between New Japan, PWG, and here in Australia, hopefully this becomes his full-time job now,
Yeah.
If anyone, I mean, there's a lot of guys in Australian wrestling who've earned the right to have this be their living, and that's what we want to do here, is we want to pump it up. We want to inflate the scene. We want as many eyes on Aussie Graps as possible. We all know this. We talk about it every week. We have an entire episode dedicated to it every Friday. You can go back and listen to last Friday's interview where Robbie Eagles, who Mikey and I on our King of Sports cast had been predicting for months would end up in the Bullet Club, where he did an interview with me and he dropped all these little clues. I have a mentor relationship with Bad Luck Fale, he says. I'm coming with all guns blazing with all the bullets that are my kicks, he says. I'm more OG than Gino, he says. And all these little clues, and I was like, he's joining the Bullet Club, it's happening. And everyone was like, you're crazy, you're mental. And here it is, it's happened, it's happening. It's the best week for Australian wrestling, and best news for Australian wrestling, and yeah, that's what we're all about here, is the Aussie Graps. So get around it, get around that Friday episode, because if you listened to that Friday episode, you would not be able to deny that he was going to the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
He made it quite clear, in cryptic ways, but clear enough.
Absolutely, but
so people need to listen.
I promised. All I have to say is I did promise the guy a beer. I made sure I went and got him a beer after, and now I'm very happy I did that because he deserves more than just one fucking beer. So good on you, Robbie, mate.
Here's my question: when they win in the Super Junior Tag League, are we gonna see Taiji Ishimori and Robbie Eagles double shoey?
Oh.
That's the question I want to know. A double shoey with some Japanese beer. I don't know if he will come home, Mikey.
Maybe
like it too much.
But with all of that said, huge weekend for Australian wrestling, and we got to get to the main event. It wasn't necessarily the main event for me, but it's time for us to talk about it. The elephant in the room. WWE Super Showdown. WWE were in town. What did you guys think of the overall experience? Let's let CJ start, because CJ hasn't really talked about it, because we've been raving on about this Wrestle Brunch.
The first thing I'm going to say is I'm actually kind of upset that I wasn't able to make it to Wrestle Brunch because it sounds amazing.
It was fucking hilarious, dude. you missed out. Like, you really did. I think it sold out, too, so you were planning on getting tickets at the door, so I don't think you would have. Yeah.
But instead of Wrestle Brunch, I kind of went and spent my money on a replica belt. So
2 replica belts. Hey, can we say why you didn't come to Wrestle Brunch? Can we say it?
Go for it.
Can I say it on air? Because his mummy wouldn't let him. The baby of the podcast, his mummy wouldn't let him.
No. So, for the viewers, my flight, I live in Sydney, and my flight down to Melbourne was actually a birthday present from my mother. So shout out to my mother for that, because it was actually an incredible experience, and I do thank her for it. So I did promise her, prior to knowing about Wrestle Brunch, that I would spend the weekend with her.
Right.
So shout out to Mum, and I love you. Thank you so much for the weekend.
Also, before we carry on, happy fucking birthday, Corey, by the way. Like,
oh, cheers, man.
Yeah.
Wait, is it your birthday today?
Yeah. I spent my birthday in an airport. That was great.
Happy birthday, CJ.
Cheers, mate.
I didn't even fucking know. Why didn't Facebook tell me? Facebook, you failed me. You have one job.
Are you plugging Facebook now?
No, I do not support Facebook.
No, we do. We love
Cheers,
Facebook. No,
Yeah, happy birthday, man. We'll see you had a sick birthday weekend.
Mate, it was fantastic. So, this entire weekend was pretty much perfect. So, I had my Super Showdown tickets bought for me for my birthday, and honestly, couldn't have asked for better seats.
yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Like you end up being roughly in the same bay as me, didn't we?
I was a tier above you, I think, because I was on the second elevated tier, right in front of the ramp.
Okay, beautiful. Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
I was in the nosebleeds. I didn't get an upgraded ticket.
Yeah, we are.
I was bummed out. I think it's because I didn't get there early enough. I bet if I got there early enough, I would have gotten an upgraded ticket too, but I didn't.
Well,
so
no, I don't know
so.
because
No,
I don't think it was based on that. It was because we walked up to the gates. So me and my wife, we actually we had a third ticket with us because we actually had a friend in Melbourne that was meant to come with us. Due to late plans, she couldn't, and we're just like, oh, bugger it. We'll just keep a seat spare in between us and be comfy for the night. That's all right. $30. It's all good. And we went through the gate, and yeah, like it's scanned, and like, okay. They said, go to the window. You got upgraded seats. We're like, what the fuck? We're thinking maybe like one more level down or something. And it was in an envelope waiting for us. So we're like, oh, okay. So it was like already pre-done. There was like about 30 envelopes in the hand. So it wasn't like who came early enough. It was like
it's a random selection.
Random pre-selection thing. And yeah, like we got upgraded to like roughly maybe where like the $180 seats were, like in the stands, but on the lowest level, but really elevated towards the back, like right near the food stalls, which gave us a perfect eye view of the entrance, which was super cool. Well, just like this is awesome. Like we thought we'd lost $30 for our friend bailing, on us, but we're like, oh, cool, like that's all right. That kind of makes up for it now. Like we spent $90 and probably sitting in
Definitely.
like 4. So we're like, yeah, stoked. But yeah, what a fun show though. Like, look, I'm not the biggest WWE guy these days. I'll be honest. Like I do watch most of it. I'll definitely keep up with pay-per-views and keep up with enough so I don't fall completely out of love with it. But no, they did a fantastic job. Just the whole weekend for WWE, like from Thursday onwards, but most of the guys got there on Thursday and right through the weekend, they did a good job of, like all the art stuff down near Flinders Street and all that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah,
so the Melbourne artists did some massive murals and stuff. There was Stone Cold Steve Cena,
yeah,
and there was a really good Becky Lynch one that I didn't take a photo of because there were too many people trying to take photos of it.
Sorry, I got a photo. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be good. I'll put it up on the Instagram.
Just quietly before we do carry on with the results and all that, is John Cena completely ruined for you? Not because of who he is, but like I can't not see JBL in him anymore. And now
I love that he's acknowledging it.
and now because of that art in Melbourne, I can't not see Stone Cold's face on John Cena. I'm like, are they marketing John Cena out of our lives for a reason, or like what? Like what's going on? Like
I love that he's a walking meme and he knows it.
Yeah,
like every time he becomes a meme, he completely embraces it, and that to me is the mark of a man. You know,
no, it's exactly
just wear
right.
it with pride. Like he's an absolute inspiration. That John Cena bloke.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I know it's. I mean, I was my friend. So I went with my friend Rachel from Melbourne. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for letting me stay with you for the weekend. That was really nice. So yeah, I went with my friend Rachel, and she's not a wrestling fan at all. She's just a friend of mine from way back, and she was like, "Well, if you come into town, I want to spend as much time with you as possible, so I'll go with you." And so we were up in the nosebleeds, and I was trying to explain things to her. She had 1,000,001 questions. And she was very confused when I was singing John Cena sucks during his entrance. But then I was cheering for him in the match. And she was like, I thought you don't like the John Cena guy. And I'm like, no, I do. And she's like, but you were saying John Cena sucks. And I'm like, yeah, it's like it's one of those wrestling things. It's like a thing that we do because it's like a thing of endearment. It's like when Kurt Angle comes out and we all sing "You Suck," and she's like, "I have no idea who that is," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's just wrestling, you know."
Just not agree with this. Just not agree.
I never realized how weird it would be to an outsider to be like, "No, but telling him he sucks. That's because I'm a fan."
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it was a lot harder to explain than I thought it would be.
These West Brunswick friends of yours, Greg. Come on. Where do you find they do?
She did roll her eyes quite a bit, especially when I tried to explain the fact that Undertaker, who is a dead man, has a demon for a brother. I lost her completely at that point.
Wow.
That's funny as.
Wow. Well, look.
But so, did anyone else spot any superstars around town? Because I spotted a couple.
Well, yeah, you got the best fucking. You had the best freaking time on Thursday, but no, I personally didn't. However, whilst we were waiting for you and your Lord of the Fries, my cousin Matt, called me. He's just like, dude, we're right near the gym. Sheamus, Cesaro, and the New Day and Dolph and Drew were all in the gym training. I was like, oh shit! We're on the other side of Flinders. We're like, shit. Okay, we're coming. So we left you to your fries, your $18 fries.
The fries weren't $18. No, the fries weren't $18. I got a burger as well.
I thought my belts were bad, mate. $18 for fries.
Yeah. Look.
No.
Okay, let's go into it. Let's go into it. Melbourne.
No. Let's not.
Worst town in Australia.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, mate. Pricing, pedestrians, cars, mate. It's honestly a shitstorm down there.
Did you see the photo that I put up? We're going to upset a lot of people talking about this. Did you see the photo I put up, though? I went to the grocery store, right? And they had core power foods, right? Core power foods are $7 everywhere. Everywhere you go. I buy them for $7, and I buy them at a supplement warehouse, right? And supplement warehouses, that's not really a place where you go to get something cheap, you know? Yeah. But I buy at a supplement store, and when I get my protein powder and stuff, and I get these core power foods, and they're $7 a pop, and it says on the box $7, and then right underneath it, there's a price tag, $9.50.
Wow.
And I'm like, Melbourne,
yeah,
Melbourne. Only in Melbourne. I don't understand it. Look, it's so weird. I mean, this wasn't at a 7-Eleven or anything either. This was at a grocery store.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Look, I probably don't hate Melbourne. I don't know. We shouldn't say we hate Melbourne. We do love Melbourne. We love Melbourne City Wrestling.
It was a good city.
It is a good city.
Yeah, well, look, look. I was on the Friday night. I was like, I want to move to Melbourne. The wrestling here is the best. But then I had to catch trams, and then I had to buy food, and I realized, so I got really, really drunk on Friday night.
Yes.
And I just wanted a cheeseburger with bacon. I just wanted to spend $3 and get some grease down my gullet. That's all I wanted. And there was not a McDonald's in sight. There were 38 vegan cafes. You couldn't throw a rock without hitting a fucking vegan-friendly joint.
See, that's what's really
Macca's is nowhere. How do you call that a bloody city?
See, what I find really funny, though, is as you were trying to catch up with us on Saturday and you were complaining that all you wanted was Macca's, if you had just come to us, we were standing in front of a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, you told me to go to this place. They're like, here's the story, guys. This is what they're not telling you. Is they said, meet us at, what was it? We were all meeting at Federation Square, right? And then Mikey changed it because he wanted to walk around. So we're across the street now in that bloody alleyway with all the pictures and all the people taking photos of the pictures. And that's all right. So I get across to the alleyway, and you guys are gone.
Well, look.
You're gone. Nowhere to be found. And I'm like, where are you? And you're like, we're 15 minutes away. And I'm like, well, I'm not going 15 fucking minutes away. There's a Lord of the Fries right there. And then it cost me $18 bloody dollars.
For fries.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
Had a real good time, though. I did.
We all had a good time.
To be fair for me, I'm not a big fan of Melbourne City. Me and the wife did get out to the Carlton and Collingwood areas on Sunday. That was a lot better. The outskirts of Melbourne, a lot better, a lot more cultured in that area. The city is a little bit too hipster for me, but I'm a 32-year-old fat half Australian, half Italian man. So I prefer food, good food and good culture than yeah.
See,
I will say this. Their comic shops are exquisite. They have a million... I walked past about 30 comic shops on my first day in there. And I might be exaggerating. It was probably like 5. But I went to a few different comic shops, and there was one, I'm going to give them a shout-out, because they knew what was up, too. They had their WWE comics and graphic novels front and center, and they had an Andre the Giant one in a display upstairs, and they had an upstairs part with, like, leather couches where you could pick up a book and sit down and read a few pages to see if it was for you.
All-Star Comics.
All-Star Comics.
Yeah, we went there on Sunday.
Oh my
God, yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Like, everyone raves about Minotaur. Minotaur's like, it's just where you go to look at a wall full of pop vinyls. No one wants that shit. I hate that shit. That's fake bullshit. Pop vinyls are stupid. I have pop vinyls, don't get me wrong, right? I'm still waiting for my Young Bucks ones to come. But I find them annoying at the same time. I have a couple, but I still find them annoying. But, like, Minotaur is completely overrated. All-Star Comics is where it's at.
Yeah. I did like Minotaur too because I'm a pop vinyl fan, so I got like 5 pop vinyls from there. But both places, Minotaur and All Star Comics, brilliant.
What pop vinyls did you get? I want to know now.
Let's be honest. I got a Yogi Bear. I got a Big Boy Pop. You know, Big Boy Purgus. I got a Big Boy Pop, which is perfect for my desk.
Okay.
I got a George Jessen Pop. I collect all sort of nerdy ones. I can't remember. Something from New Girl. Which is one of the best shows ever, by the way.
It's a nice random little collection.
Yeah,
See, that's the problem with me. It's the problem with me and pop vinyls is I'm one of those weird guys where I can't have an incomplete. So, like, when they come out with, like, Rick and Morty, right? And you can get like I would not be able to get Rick unless I also got Morty, and then I would probably need to get Mr. Poopy Butthole. I'm just wired that way.
Yeah.
Well, I have, like, there's a comic book I read called Saga, and they came out with a set, and I was so close to buying the entire set, but my partner, she knows me so well, she was able to talk me down to only buying 3, because she was like, no, look, if you get the special edition Alana, that's the mum, she's holding the baby Hazel, and then you can get the Marco, which is the dad, and then the babysitter Isabel, and then you've got the family. You don't need the extra characters.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the family. And so she was able to make the incomplete set sound like a complete set to my weird brain.
Yeah, fair enough.
Smart way of doing it.
Yeah, so, but I'm just wired wrong, so I hate pop vinyls because they release so many.
No, fair enough. Me and my wife have probably combined about 300 pops. We've got a lot, and we even have, like, a pop vinyl dealer. Like, we have a chick. We have a chick in Perth. Shout out to Kimberly Williams from Narrogin Treats and Treasures. She gets brand new stuff. She gets brand new stuff. She posts it online, and we go, "Yep, we want that," and she orders it for us, and we get it sent straight to our door. So,
was your first hit free?
I wish.
I just picture her rocking up in a car. It's like, you got stuff.
We
pop vinyl dealer. But we've gotten really far away from the wrestling. We should probably talk about the show. We've talked enough about Melbourne,
exactly,
I think.
Right.
we should probably talk about the actual show.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
100 episodes. We made it. We made it to 100 episodes. And what better way to celebrate than by sharing Threadbox with all the B+ players across Australia. Threadbox is a subscription service for men that brings you a personalized shopping and stylist experience for any budget. You get direct email access to a personalized stylist who builds out a style profile for you and sends you all the clothes you need. So if you need singlets this month, you're going to get singlets. If you need belts this month, you're going to get belts. You let them know and they're going to send that out to you. There are multiple packages available and you always get more worth than you pay for because Threadbox know all the best brands. CJ and I both got deliveries this month, and amongst our new threads were KSCY, Offends, Cheat Monday, NXP, and more. So you can check out our unboxing videos on the Facebook page, or if you go to threadbox.com.au, you can check out past packages that they've sent out there. We believe in Threadbox because Threadbox want to help us, you, and men everywhere look better without all the bother of having to shop. In as low a price as $40, what more can you ask for? You're going to get more value than you pay for. Just for our fans, if you put in the code the B+15 at checkout, you're going to get 15% off your first box. Head to threadbox.com.au and use the code the B+15 to get your box today. Now, let's start with the MCG itself. What did you guys think of the setup?
I hated it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't like the setup.
I'm not a fan of open air stadiums.
See, I actually, no. Okay, give me. I'm just going to correct this, right? I liked the venue. The venue was good. I loved how it was open. It was huge. What annoyed me the most was that it wasn't full. And I'm not talking ticket sales and stuff. I'm talking we got the Saudi Arabia field where they stuck random ass chairs in the middle of the field.
No, see, it wasn't random. See, if you were looking from my bird's eye view, you've got the big, because it's an open air, this is why I say I don't like open air stadiums.
Yeah.
Because it's an open air stadium, they have to have those big pylons so that they can put the roof there so that they can have all the lighting structures they need to light up the ring.
Yeah, I get that.
So, but those big pylons mean that no one can see if they sit in that corner.
Oh, right.
So they
Yeah,
have
I didn't
those
think of
four
that.
corners. They have those four corners completely empty, and it looks silly from where we are up in the air. It also creates a huge space between some parts of the crowd and the rest of the crowd. And because of the open air, the chants from the guys on the floor go straight up, and we can't hear what's being chanted. And if a chant starts in the stands, it goes around the stands slowly, kind of like an audio Mexican wave,
That was pretty
but never actually makes its way to the ground.
Yeah, good point. Understandable.
And so the sound pissed me, like it was very echoey as well, because of the huge open air. When you have a roof, the sound closes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as well, when you have a roof, you don't have those poor pylons. Everyone's stacked in on top of each other. The whole atmosphere improves.
Yeah.
No, I just think it was good in general. Like, I liked the venue. Don't get me wrong, the venue was pretty good. Layout was good. Now that you've explained it to me with the big stands, I can understand why those are big gaps. But I don't know. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, nah, this is really annoying. It gave me a Saudi Arabia feel, but I can understand it now.
Yeah, look,
you've changed my ways.
No, for me, it was. I don't know. I don't think I would go to an open air stadium show again. Like if they were to come back and do it again at MCG, I probably wouldn't. If they were to do it at Acer or Etihad, I'd be there 100% because it'll be a better vibe, I think.
I think the next one should be at Sydney's new big stadium that they've got next year.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Is it open air?
No, it's supposed to be closed, I think.
Yeah, it's supposed to have a roof. No, well, yeah. See, for me, like, I get the appeal of MCG, and like that was the first time, even as a massive cricket and footy fan, that I've ever stepped foot in MCG. So that was special for me as well. And it was cool. It's a cool venue for WWE to do. Like they have to do MCG. It's like it's one of the best stadiums in sport in general in the whole entire world. So I get it, and it did look good. At some aspects of it did look good. Obviously, you can't get 100,000 people in at a WWE show when you have to close half of it because you don't want to be behind the entranceway, which is fair enough and all that. But yeah, I personally would prefer, I'm not just saying this as I'm a Sydney guy, but I think something like SCG would have been better. Like SCG only gets 50 or 60,000, and I think if they filled that perfectly, it would have looked a lot better. But anyway, no, I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it was a good venue, good setup for as much as it could be. Like you can't do much when it's that big of a audience, but that big of a venue, you have to do the pylons and all that. But yeah, look, for what it was decent. It was good.
Yeah.
I think what I came to realize that night was TV wrestling and live wrestling are two very different beasts. For me, I love live wrestling. And to me, what that means is a bunch of people crammed into a room, all on top of each other, yelling, chanting, screaming, getting excited, getting sad, getting angry, and directing that all at the ring and vibing with everything going on, right? Like it's a whole experience. We go on that ride together. And to me, I feel like that's kind of limited to probably 20,000 people, maybe. I don't think you could get it. I don't think you could keep it going with more than that.
No.
And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but to me, like the wrestling, like I watched this show again the next day on the network, and I enjoyed it far better on the network than I did live. The commentary adds so much in WWE. But if the crowd was more exciting on the night, then you don't care about the commentary, right? But the crowd wasn't excited.
See, okay, I'm just going to really quickly say something there. I think that might have been the point of where you were sitting, because to me, every single match that was on in my section, we either had a chant, or we were singing a song, or we were laughing our asses off because someone was saying something in the crowd. Honestly, I feel that not having commentary and having the interaction that I was having with the people around me, that made it so much more better.
Yeah, see, my section was dead completely. I mean, they joined in a few things. Like they definitely popped. We definitely all popped with Buddy Murphy kicking out of the lumbar check. When Buddy Murphy kicked out of the lumbar check, the entire place exploded. When Elias came out, the entire place exploded. Those were the two pops of the night.
Yeah.
Was Buddy kicking out, Buddy winning, and Elias. Bar none. No one else came close. Even Undertaker and Triple H didn't get as big a pop as that, which just goes to show something. And
Becky came close.
Becky did come close. Yeah, Becky did come close. But then as well, I heard people saying, "Oh man, the Bellas got booed so badly." I didn't hear a single boo for the Bellas.
Oh, I did.
And this is what I mean. This is what I mean about how the floor being so far away from I didn't hear a single boo for the Bellas, and I'm like, how are people saying that Australia booed the Bellas? I didn't hear anything. I heard nothing but cheers for the Bellas. I heard nothing but cheers for John Cena.
No, where I was sitting, there were boos galore. Like, it was crazy. Like, I could hear cheers as well, like, coming from further into the stadium, like, further from the floor and stuff. But half the people I was sitting around, they were heckling them like crazy. And I feel sorry for the superstars when they have to deal with that too. Even if they are a face or a heel, it's not bad to heckle and call someone really bad names.
No, but see, that's that is the one benefit of a stadium show is, you know, the people in the ring can't actually hear anything that these people are saying.
Yeah.
Unless it's people in the front row, which people who go front row, I don't think they're there to heckle.
No, that's exactly right.
But no, I heard some pretty atrocious stuff. I definitely, we had some, okay, I'm gonna, oh man.
If I can be serious for a minute, without being interrupted.
If you go to a wrestling show and chant for Chris Benoit, fuck yourself and die.
What the heck?
Yeah, fucking idiots. Idiots.
Wow, that is disgusting.
Idiots chanting for Chris Benoit. I turned around, I looked them dead in the eye, and I said, boo! Fuck off!
Wow.
And they shut up. Because seriously, what the fuck?
Who does that?
Yeah. That's pathetic.
They're the same dudes. They were booing all the faces and cheering all the heels.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So they're the cliche. I love the heel character.
Yeah, but then when they're getting bored and they were starting the Mexican wave as well during the Triple H Undertaker main event, and so they were bored in the Triple H Undertaker match, and so they start chanting for Chris Benoit and starting Mexican waves. Seriously, don't come, don't come, go away. Like I enjoyed the show. Don't get me wrong, I definitely enjoyed the show. It was crazy. It was on a scale like nothing I've ever been to. You know, it was an amazing show. It was an amazing vibe, and there were some moments that had me legitimately emotional and tearing up, and you know, it was a great show. But I didn't enjoy the show as much as I would have liked. But these guys were clearly just there. I don't even know what they were there for. Like, what are you doing?
No, I can understand that. It's just
they're probably got free.
Mind you, we had people like that in our section as well.
Yeah, I had some in those in my section as well. They're just there to, like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of the guys who do those, like, at a WWE show, I'm weird, like I'll start with, like, when I'm at an indie show, I'm a little bit better. I'll boo the heels and I'll cheer the faces, kind of. Most of the time I'm cheering Mick Murray, but anyway. But at a WWE show, like, yeah, I was like catching myself, like I was cheering Kevin Owens, and like I'm fighting against the machine. Becky Lynch is the face, regardless. And
yes, no, we all cheered Becky Lynch. That's acceptable. That's not but
Yeah,
This was
exactly.
blatantly what these guys were doing.
It's just people out there that.
It was okay. Let me. I'll take you back.
Yeah.
I'll take you back. 2000 and something. Ruthless Aggression Tour. Spirit Squad, Rey Mysterio, Kane, Hurricane, Gold Dust. You know, I can't remember who else was on it, but you know, I'm talking a long time ago. and yeah, I went dressed as a member of the Spirit Squad.
Greggy,
right? Yeah, I had a headband that said Greggy, and I was wearing a green jumpsuit. I was the sixth member. No, I had a headband, and I wrote Greggy on it in marker, and I was wearing the green jumpsuit, and I even bought green cigarettes for that day, because this is back when I was a smoker, and I was like, I want everything green, I'll buy the green ones, and then from then on, I was a menthol smoker, because they were amazing. So, legitimately, I got them just for the gimmick, just because I'm like, it's green, Spirit Squad wear green, man. So,
wow.
I went to the show, and I legitimately... I did the whole thing where I supported all the heels because I was in character as a member of the Spirit Squad, right? And I would say things and I would clap and stuff. And when little kids, like you would, but I was in a section that had a lot of little kids, and so when the kids cheering for Rey Mysterio, right, and then I'm cheering for whoever Rey Mysterio is against, and the kids like getting in my face, and then I'm getting in his face, and we're chanting back and forth. It's fun. It wasn't. It wasn't like what these guys were doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I actually got kicked in the nuts by a little kid in a Rey Mysterio mask.
In.
It was hilarious. His dad laughed, I laughed, we fist bumped. It was fun. You know? Yeah, so, I mean, look, it is what it is. Some fans are assholes. Let's put all that behind us now. We've had a big old discussion about Melbourne, about the vibe of the show, and now it's time to talk about the actual show. Should we go through it result by result?
Let's do it. Let's start with the show opener.
Yeah. All right.
The fireworks. We actually had pyro at a WWE event. I don't know. I was just excited about that.
It was good to see pyro. I was waiting for it to go around the ring like they do at WrestleMania, like around the circle, but it didn't.
Yeah, I was a little let down at that, but we got pyro nonetheless.
No, it was definitely fun.
I had a feeling that was put on by the Victoria government, not WWE. They don't do pyro anymore.
Probably.
Yeah. And then of course the actual opener is the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. I was surprised that this was opening the show. I'm actually quite surprised with the entire match order, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was surprised with a few of them.
I thought for sure we'd see the Cruiserweight title open the show.
So did I, but we'll get to that bit later.
I was very happy that it didn't. But yeah, so SmackDown Tag Team Championship, New Day defeat Cesaro and Sheamus. They defeat the Bar and they retain the tag team titles, much like all of the results on this show pretty much expected.
Yep. One quick thing before we do go into the result of this match, I want to say thanks to the Melbourne audience for booing Michael Cole and his entrance. Loved it.
Yeah, and a huge pop for Renee Young too.
Huge pop for Renee and Corey.
Yeah,
but Cole with a booze.
But okay, look, I just got to say this quickly because I don't say it enough either. But he actually does a really good job, especially when he's less produced. Go watch the Mae Young Classic.
Muggle. Yes.
No, seriously, go watch the Mae Young Classic because I know neither of you are, right? Because you're sexist pigs, and you'll see what he's like when he's a little less produced. And I mean, look, there's some awkward moments like him and Renee Young talking about wanting to go for dim sums after the show while Mia Yim and Zaya Lee are fighting. It was a little insensitive, I think. But there he's much better when he's less produced, when he doesn't have to say certain things, like, because things like the big dog and it's boss time, they're not actually coming from Michael
exactly Cole. Right. But
so
moving on with this,
let's go back to the New Day. Back to the New
CJ.
Okay, sorry, just everything went quiet there. So moving on from Michael Cole and his awesome booing and work, I just want to point out with this match, I know it came through on the WWE Network. The one thing that I love was the "You are a wanker" chant towards Sheamus. That was gold.
Yeah. I'm surprised that was the only one, to be honest with you.
Well, "You are a wanker" chant? No, I had a few during the night.
There was another.
Oh,
there was another one.
only
There was
one
another
I
one a
heard.
little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
The crowd died off pretty quickly, from my perspective. So they were hot for the first the first 3 matches, and they died off around the Iconics, which really bummed me out. But let's get to it. So SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair. Wait. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. I'm like, Charlotte Flair didn't. Charlotte Flair defeated Becky Lynch, but it was by disqualification. So Becky grabs the title belt. She brought the title belt into it earlier, but missed. And she grabbed the title belt and whips her with the title belt to force the DQ to get out of the figure 4.
Smart move. It was a heel move. It was very smart.
clever.
It was. She's still not a heel.
No.
She's still not a heel. That was Charlotte Flair 2016-esque. I liked it. Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good way to end the match. Use DQ.
Did you guys see her tweet the day of the show? She took a picture of the wall with her mural.
Cool.
Yes.
And she tweeted out. He tweeted out. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was something to the effect of, "You keep me off your programs. You keep me off your posters, but the people put me on their walls."
That's pretty good.
Yeah. She's a hero.
And then
man. She's an absolute hero.
And then shout out to a friend / listener, Desiree Owens, who got a massive retweet from Becky on the day. Fantastic.
What was that for?
She retweeted about something about being in front of that painting, and Becky retweeted her retweet, and had she ended up getting 700, 800 likes out of it or something.
Nice.
Good social mediaing.
Yeah, nice. Then we get John Cena and Bobby Lashley, and they defeat Kevin Owens and Elias. We expected John Cena and Bobby Lashley to get the win here. I mean, it was a house show, so, the faces win.
Yeah.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate, though, when Elias comes out and he starts his whole stick of WWE stands for Walk with Elias, the place erupted. That was...
Well, even not just that, even before that, when they do, ladies and gentlemen, Elias, and the crowd just erupts.
It was so good.
And then they say, and Kevin Owens, and the whole place just goes, boo.
Yeah, the whole place just turned as if someone just flipped a coin. It was so funny.
It's such a good dynamic. I hope it happens that way in America as well. Poor Elias, though, because his whole thing is he tries to, he starts with them cheering him. It happens everywhere. People cheer for Elias, and then he insults the town, insults the crowd, and they start booing him, right? And for the most part, I think it's people playing along. And I assume he thought the same thing would happen here when he insulted Collingwood. He didn't realize that no one likes Collingwood.
Yeah.
And so when he said the Collingwood thing, everyone cheered. And you actually, when you watch it on the network, you actually see the confusion on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit convinced that Vince and everyone backstage were confused as well, because I think Bobby Lashley came out earlier than he was supposed to.
No, I think so too. I think everyone got confused because as I noticed that from where we were sitting, you could tell where the facial expressions and stuff. So as Bobby Lashley's music hit, I watched Elias turn to Kevin Owens to have that look of confusion as if to say he's not due out yet. I agree with you, Greg. I think they sent Bobby Lashley out really early.
Well, we know they did that with Leo Rush on Raw, right? They sent him out because they were like, we need to go to an ad break. The boos have been going too long. We need to get a cheer before we go to ad. And so I think that they do that sort of thing, and we may not even notice it, but they do it from time to time where they're like, okay, this isn't going how we want it. Let's send him out early and just cut the promo short. And I think that may have happened here because it was not. He was trying everything he could to get booed. He mentioned a football player, and then he mentioned the whole Collingwood thing. And see, it's hard for me to remember because I watched it I'm remembering this from the network because it was too echoey for me to actually hear him, unfortunately. But yeah, he mentioned the Collingwood thing, and everyone cheered, and he's so confused. So then they just send Bobby Lashley out to cut him off.
It's what happened.
Yeah.
How good was the finish of the match, though?
No.
We got the sixth move of doom.
No. Just don't.
Really?
Don't. It looks like shit.
I love it so much.
I'm so sorry, but no, I have to disagree with you there. I don't like it at all.
This is wrestling. This is wrestling. You got to embrace the ridiculousness sometimes.
No.
For me, it was funny because I was waiting for him to get the hot tag, and I said to Mrs. Mikey, I'll turn around and said, "Watch this, count my hand." I went 1. Well, he did number 1 twice, fair enough. Then I was like 2, 3, 4, 5, and then went for number 6. I was like, "That's new."
That's right, because you don't follow it like we do, because we do the podcast,
No.
we follow it a bit more. So he debuted that move on a house show in China.
Okay, well, there you go.
And
but I was like,
it's because he's training with Jackie Chan for a movie.
Right.
That's why he has the hair, too. He's training with Jackie Chan for a movie. And so, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And why wouldn't you add that to the shtick? Right?
Maybe
it's
do
hilarious.
it before the attitude adjustment, not after.
No, I think it's the perfect knockout punch because the attitude adjustment gets a bit of a bounce. So they can bounce up and then boom, you whack them, you know? I think it's good. It's just a back fist, you know? I mean, UFC people knock people out with back fists all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate move.
Not from John Cena.
And before he does it, he crosses his hands across his chest like he's channeling all his ki. Ki is like energy.
I'm sure he screamed out "senpai."
Yeah, he did. I remember hearing.
He did not say senpai.
Oh, that's great.
No, so he did scream something.
You couldn't hear anything from the ring.
I could. No, not from the ring, but from the like we had the speakers ahead of us, so we could hear.
You could hear what was being like talking in the ring and stuff, and you could hear chops. You could hear
I could
not
hear
chops.
chops
I could hear the drop.
We heard nothing. We heard no chops. We heard no kicks. It was just complete silence, and it was really the only thing we could hear was bumps because there was a mic in the ring.
No, yeah. No, you know, it is what it is with John Cena. We don't know when we're going to see him again.
Did you notice he didn't take any bumps?
Yeah, they played him safe. They didn't want to get him injured.
Movie studio wouldn't let him. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially not. And I reckon the next time we see him will be Saudi Arabia. Surely they'll pay $35 million for him too, whatever it is. And then I don't reckon we see him until maybe Rumble or Mania. And that's about it. I don't think we see him much anymore.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. At least for the next year or two, he'll be gone for a while, and then he'll come back, and they'll do a repeat of the Rock storyline where someone's going to call him out.
I hope they do. I actually hope they do.
Yeah.
But I hope they do it with someone who's like an actual wrestler that's probably not going to ever go to Hollywood. You know, someone like
Kenny Omega by then.
I could imagine Kenny Omega going to like the Japanese version of Hollywood, though.
Yeah, probably.
You think if he was offered to do movies like Hiroshi Tanahashi, you think he'd turn it down? My dad's a heel wrestler. He would love that shit. He's so animated.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the Iconics one.
This disappointed the hell out of me, just because the crowd were dead.
Yeah. I'm gonna say so. Look, I was okay with the match. You know, it was literally. I'm looking at the match time. I didn't realize how short it was. 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah,
but whatever.
They did great though. They did, and I was so proud of them. Like, Mikey, you and I have talked about this. We watched them at PWA shows. You know, in front of 30, 40 people at the worst, but you know, normally 100 or so people.
Right.
But it's just insane to talk to them at the merch desk. You know. And now they're on the ramp at the fucking MCG in front of 70,000 people.
Right, and look, one little thing about this match, or just talk about the Iconics. Definitely super proud of them as being PWA newly pro originals. Like, definitely love that. Being from Sydney, love that. The match itself was average, all that. But if you guys get the chance, go onto YouTube, WWE YouTube page, and there's 2 clips of Billy and Peyton. One is from I think Thursday or Friday. They went onto the MCG, just them 2 with a camera, and they got a little bit emotional. Then they got one of after the match. Someone handed them a phone and showed the reactions from both their families, and they broke down. And man, like that's the shit that I wanted to see. Like.
Oh man, I cried like a little bitch watching them watch their families watch them.
Yeah,
that was hard to say, but So many tears.
Yeah, but no, that was so cool. Like it would be heavy. Like you do like some of the American WWE stars have it lucky. They can fly across to LA for next to nothing to go see their families. Like the Aussies, and I guess people like Shinsuke and stuff like that for Japan, they just can't come home whenever they feel like it just to see their nephew being born or something like that. So that was cool to see. I did definitely love that. But yeah, like it was super special. Like you even saw the tweets from all the PWA boys, like Conco and Jack and like Bonzo and all that. These are guys that used to like train them and stuff like that. And here these girls are just strutting down MCG. It's just it's just insane.
Yeah,
just insane.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane, and they get the win as well, which is nice.
And is this their? I think I heard them saying one of the things like I'm not a massive follower, but is this their first WWE pay-per-view?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
No.
Yeah, they've never had a match on pay-per-view as far as I know.
What about the Women's Rumble?
They were never in that.
They weren't in that.
They weren't in the Women's Rumble?
No, they were out because they both had their enhancements.
Oh. Wow.
They were.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations again. Like that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We've got to move on, though. We've got to move on. We've been talking for a long time. WWE Championship, AJ Styles. We were talking going into this, hey, maybe this is the opportunity because none of the Raw titles are on the line. Maybe this will get a chance to head... No. Middle of the card.
Yeah.
And then we were like, maybe there will be a title change. Maybe we'll see. It's Samoa Joe's time. No. Just AJ Styles wins.
Man, you got to admit though, this was a really good match.
Oh yeah, it was
so
great.
good.
It was great.
So good.
They made such great use of the no disqualification stipulation.
Yeah, totally great.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, okay, they did eventually, but they wrestled a straight match for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I liked that because it showed that they both wanted to just out wrestle each other, and then you could see them.
They didn't though. He broke into his fucking house.
Hey,
taunted his wife and child, and then he's like, "I'm gonna wrestle you." No, he should have hit him with a forearm off the bat, knocked him down, gotten straight out of the ring, and picked up some barbed wire and wrapped it around his fucking skull. Like, what the hell?
Something like that, yeah. I don't know.
What was this? I was just at a wrestle brunch. And then you want me to see this shit?
I don't know. I think the match was good. I do like how they took a little bit to get into the weapons. That to me, that made it a little bit better.
Yeah.
I actually hope that Joe isn't actually injured with his knee. Doesn't seem like he is, which is good.
No, there's no way he is.
So
it was a work. It was all a work. But as a standalone match, I can agree with you. As a standalone match that means nothing in a wider story, yes, this was a really good match. But as part of a story that they tell, which is what wrestling is, an episodic fucking story that goes for years and years and never ends, it was a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was. It was a great match, but it was a terrible match at the same time.
Yeah, well, I'm in the middle. I thought it was a good match. I think there could have been a little bit more drama behind the match. There could have been a little bit more drama within the match. I'll say this, though. The Samoa Joe promo stuff. My wife hated Samoa Joe before going into this match anyway.
Yeah.
He creeps the hell out of her. Good work, Samoa Joe.
He's brilliant at his job.
Or because he injured Tyson Kidd 3 years ago. My wife hates him. We're TJ Marks here. No. And that promo, like Eliza's like he's actually legit creepy. Like I'm like, yeah. And I was just like, I was hoping to see a little bit more of that in the match. But anyway, look, it was a fun match. It's Styles and Joe. We've been watching these guys do this shit for 15 years against each other. So just always classic.
And then Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins defeat the Riot Squad in short order. The girls didn't really get a lot of time on this show, unfortunately.
They don't. They didn't. And
I guess the rationale is they have Evolution coming. They get their whole show. We can give them 5 minutes again now. No, that's
Pretty
not
much.
how it works. But no turn.
No, I thought it was
hits.
coming. I thought it was coming. Nikki had her arm up, and I was like, "Oh, here we go, it's gonna happen." But no, didn't happen. But didn't Ronda look like $1 million?
Yeah, and she got a pretty big pop too.
She is, and she's a
Yeah,
superstar. She's a superstar. I thought they were gonna rub a little bit more Melbourne in her face, but Ronda Rousey and Melbourne don't have a good relationship. But I thought they were going to use that a little bit more. But it is what it is. I personally don't find the Bellas entertaining as wrestlers or in ring. They do good character work. Nothing wrong with that stuff, and they're good for the brand and all that. I don't find them entertaining whatsoever in ring. The Riot Squad, they did their job well. But Ronda, she's $1 million. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry. I know we don't want to touch.
Liv Morgan getting her. Sorry, go.
I was going to say just quickly. Like, I know you don't want to touch on any of this, and we're not getting into this because it's shit. But I guarantee Conor McGregor is going to be in Ronda Rousey's shoes in a couple of years.
He's a wrestler through and through. He's a wrestler through and through.
Yeah.
But I just want to say as well, Liv Morgan getting her receipt on Brie Bella with the kick to the head.
That was
nice.
great.
That was
and
nice.
that got a pretty good pop to it too.
Yeah, it did. And Liv Morgan, I actually met the Riot Squad and Braun Strowman at a tattoo parlor in Melbourne, and it was. I'm not going to go into the whole story. It was fun. Yeah, I had a bit of fun, and I was going to get a tattoo, but it fell through. But if it comes through, then I'll still do it. I'm still committed that I will get it. But it is what it is. Anyway, I met them there, and Liv was hilarious.
That was pretty cool.
And so she has a special spot. I'm always going to be a Liv mark from now on, for sure. And Braun Strowman as well. So he posted on his story. I'm going to tell this quickly. He posted on his story about getting a tattoo, and he mentioned where he was. And I was in the area, so I rocked up, and there were about 8 other people there. And as soon as he finished his tattoo, he came out the front door, and he just goes, "Who wants photos?" Like,
that's great.
Like, what an absolute legend. He was hilarious and fantastic. And the Riot Squad were a little bit more standoffish because they didn't post about where they were, Yeah. And I think as well, Ruby Riot, she's a little bit old school. Like, she's from the indies and stuff as well. So when she's a heel, she doesn't want to talk to fans, I feel like that's
smart.
what it is. Because I've seen her as Heidi Lovelace at, like, independent shows in America and stuff. I've seen her interacting with fans and being really bubbly and awesome. And so I assume it's just because she's working heel at the moment. But she was a bit more standoffish, and so was Sarah Logan. But Liv Morgan wasn't, and she was having a laugh and being funny, and it was hilarious. And so I'll always be a Liv Morgan mark. But moving on, the main event, we can all go home after this.
Yes.
WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy fucking Murphy is the Cruiserweight champion. He defeated Cedric Alexander, and what a match. The story they told.
Mate.
That was honestly best match of the night.
It put everything else to shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really did.
Yeah.
Because it had a solid story that made sense in the wider context of 205 Live. It's not rocket science, people. It's wrestling.
Yeah. No, fantastic match. Bell to bell, just fantastic. What a way to give Buddy that Cruiserweight title. He's deserved it nearly all year. Cedric's been a decent champion. Nothing wrong with him being champion this year. I got all the time in the world for Cedric Alexander. I could watch him day and night when he get bored ever. But yeah, no, awesome story. Buddy win the title in Melbourne. Like, I know there's some that have tried to ruin it today, i.e. Nia Jax, but
Nia Jax is not Australian. I don't care if she was born here.
She's as Australian as Kyrie Irving is, so no.
I don't get that reference.
Okay. Kyrie Irving is an NBA player who was born in Melbourne. He was born in Melbourne and moved to America when he was like 3. He had the chance to represent the Boomers or America at the Olympics. He chose America, but he was born in Australia. Nia Jax has chosen her entrance to be, she's billed from San Diego or whatever it is, so she's not Australian.
No.
Born in Sydney, fantastic. But no, Buddy is the first.
But the story here was Buddy was feeding off a crowd that was behind him, whereas in America the crowd all hate him.
Yeah.
And Cedric got thrown off by this when they started chanting for Buddy. He looked around and was like, "What's going on?" He got thrown off, so he was a little off his game. Buddy was super on his game. When Buddy kicked out of the lumbar check, because it's a move that no one kicks out of, right? So it comes down to that whole New Japan style of protecting finishes and telling stories that make sense. It's all about the story, the way the crowd reacted, and they'll pump it off and they'll be like, "Oh, they just reacted that way because he's Australian." No, because the Iconics were Australian and they didn't get the same reaction. The reason the crowd reacted the way they reacted was partly because he's Australian. Yes, that's what the initial pop was for, but the way they told the story with Cedric throwing everything he could at him, but Buddy being able to feed off that energy and it just not being enough.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That story sold because when the lumbar check came, we had all been conditioned. This is a house show. There's no titles changing hands. Shit, he hit the lumbar check. No one kicks out of that. It's over. And then he kicked out. If he'd kicked out at 1, I think the place would have literally exploded.
Yeah,
but he kicked out
cool
at 2.
Yeah, it was like 2.9.
Yeah,
like, it was so close. And
I'm
so glad. Yeah, it was the excitement in the arena was huge when he was out there. Like, it was. I've been in, like, I've seen Origin series plays. I've been to NRL games, AFL games. I've been to tennis, if you class that as like a big arena sport. But I have never heard an excitement or felt the thrill more than I did with Buddy Murphy.
No. People were shaking each other. People were hugging. Like, when he, it was legitimately emotional. And then he got the win, and the place exploded again, just came unglued. It was amazing.
Speaking of people interacting with each other, I don't know if, Mikey, you are nearest to me, so I don't know if you heard it, but my section, the section to my left, and then the section to their left, during the Buddy Murphy match, we were all singing the national anthem.
Yeah. My section was a lot of Aussie, oi, oi, ois. I didn't get the anthem.
We had that too, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I had plenty of Aussie, oi, oi, ois, but...
I heard none of that.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
We had one of those audio Mexican waves I told you about. The section 3 over from us to the right, they started what was it? Let's go. No, it was a Buddy Murphy chant, and then it came along, and like you heard it coming, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll get on that, and you start it, and then the people down to the left, they heard it coming, and it went all the way around, but but it never would have made its way to you guys.
Wow. That's shocking.
Wow.
But
the
experience was very different. I'm really glad you got upgraded, Mikey, because I enjoyed it, and it was still a good view. I could still see everything. Like, it wasn't bad. It was the sound. The sound was the big thing. Yeah. Like I said, not hearing chops or kicks. It's weird.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I'm kind of glad that we got the seats we did, because I heard every chop that was made.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
And every chair shot that was made.
Oh, we heard the chair shots. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Shield defeat Braun Strowman, and Dean Ambrose doesn't turn. I don't really think there's anything to talk about here. Yeah, it was a good match. We don't expect anything less. It was a good match, but I mean, the entrance was cool as well.
Yeah.
The entrance was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting Shield to come through the crowd. That was pretty cool. The one thing I do want to touch on with this, though, is, yes, Roman Reigns hit Dean Ambrose with the Superman punch later, but moments later also saved him from an absolute barrage from Braun Strowman by spearing Strowman through the barricade.
Yeah,
that
was an amazing spot.
Yeah,
and that got a really good pop.
It did get a good pop. Going through the barricade always gets a good pop. The part that I really liked was when he saved, was it Dolph? He saved Dolph from the triple powerbomb by spearing, like he tackled them. Like all 3 of them, and took them all down. That was impressive for me. I liked that spot a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good match. And Dean Ambrose didn't turn. That was it. They teased the turn when he got up on the apron with all the others, but he didn't turn.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Then Daniel Bryan defeated The Miz before anyone knew the match even started, and everyone was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, well, the minute lasted 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
That's insane.
Like
Undertaker's entrance was longer than that.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we had like so many things that last long, but it was my entire section. Like I myself, I looked down at my phone and heard the bell ring, but when I heard the bell ring, my entire section was like, "What?"
Yeah, see, I had no idea what happened because I was reaching under my seat to get my drink.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it was just over so quick.
Yeah, I had a friend, my friend Des, actually the one that got the retweet from Becky. She was saying to me after the show that she went in quickly, like the Daniel Bryan match started. She quickly ran to the shop to get a drink, and she didn't want to miss Shawn Michaels' entrance. And she thought, we should have enough time. She came and like the Miz, you heard the bells already. She's like, what the hell? So she just like run back. I was like, that's how quick it was. You couldn't even get time to go get a drink.
Well, I when I watched it back on TV though, it made perfect. This is one that actually made really good sense in their wider story. Daniel Bryan has had enough of the Miz's bullcrap, and he just wanted to out wrestle him quickly. And he took him to the mat. He got a roll up pin, and he got the win. And he's moving on. He's done with the Miz. He's moving on to go for that WWE Championship that he believes he deserves. So, in terms of the wider story, this is one of those things where I say, like I said, I came to realize that WWE as a live product is completely different to WWE as a TV show.
Yeah.
Because watching it on TV, this match was so satisfying. Watching it live, it was like, what the fuck was that? I paid $40 for this. I know, I only paid $40. I'm such a cheapskate. But I paid $40 for this, and I want my goddamn Miz and Daniel Bryan match. It's one of the only reasons I came here.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I wanted that match so badly, and then as soon as that bell rang, I was like, oh, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah. But watching it on TV, I was like, hey, that was really entertaining.
Yeah.
So it's so different. And this next match is the exact opposite. So Triple H, he manages to get the win over The Undertaker in the main event of the night. Of course, the entrances were epic. It's insane to be there for that dong.
All four of them. All four entrances. Even Triple H's entrance and Shawn Michaels' entrance is still cool to see live.
Just being there for the moans, being there for the like every single one of them. Every single one of them have an iconic entrance, and it was amazing, and the atmosphere was incredible. The match itself, for me, live, I really, really, really enjoyed that match.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Everything they did was great. Watching it back on TV, it was very hard to watch. Undertaker looked like he was going to die, and like he just didn't look ready to have a match, especially of that length. By about the 5-10 minute mark, he was so gassed. It was like, I like, how are you going to do this? But I know you've done it because I watched it last night. How are you not passed out on the floor?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It's so odd being there. This match was incredible, and on TV it was awful.
Look,
maybe I might not watch it on TV then.
yeah. Look, it's interesting. Like we all know, Triple H can still go. Like he can still go full time if he really wanted to. He's still going a million miles per hour. But the other three, look, I love the Undertaker. Like the match at the show was fun. Like 27 minutes match plus 30 minutes of entrance time. Like I think I guessed it the other day. A collective age of just under 200 between all four of them, like just under 200. Like there's a lot of mileage on all four of those bodies.
As in their combined age. Their combined age is around 200.
The combined, the miles on all four of those bodies. 25 years, 30-year careers. I know this is going to sound like a real heavy thing to say. I don't want to see Shawn Michaels wrestle. He looks he took like one or two bumps out there, and he it just felt like he was even more frail. I'm like, yeah, no. And then even Kane, I'm like, yeah, no. Like, I don't mind Kane appearing and when the lights turn off and come in and he choke slams someone through the ring. I don't mind that shit, but I don't want to see Kane have a match. Like he's not the Kane that he was. And even Undertaker, it's sad. Like Triple H can still go. He could go full time if he wanted to. But I don't know. Like it was fun at the show. It was a great match. I love seeing all four. I just don't want to see it again. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah. No, see, and live, it was like, oh, look at how much these guys can get out of the crowd with so little.
Yeah. That's the thing with them. Like, even as slow as snails, they can still get more reaction than nearly half that roster all night. Like,
but then you watch it on TV, and it's painful. It really is. So it's such a. This is what I mean about WWE and live wrestling being completely different from TV wrestling. And I honestly think, I mean, I'll probably eat my words in a year or two when they come back, but I honestly think that I'd rather watch these shows on the network.
Yeah,
I know that's a big call. Like, I'm glad I went to this one because this one was historic. But if they come back next time, unless they have really good stories going into it, especially if it's at an open air stadium, I'm not keen. I'm just not keen, unfortunately. And that means that means overall, at least for me, they did a bad job. And because I don't want to go back to it, you know?
See, I'm the opposite end of the scale. I love this, and I 100% would do it again.
I'm gonna be the middle boy. I'm gonna be the fence sitter. It is what it is. Like, I'm not a massive WWE guy anymore, but at the same time, shows like this, I probably wouldn't go to a WWE live, like, just, at Acer Arena just as a house show. I probably wouldn't waste my money on that stuff. But any major events that WWE come back down for, I'm gonna go. I'm always gonna be a WWE guy. I've spent thousands and thousands on merch over my life.
I did that this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always going to go back. They do what they do best, and that's pull at those heartstrings at the right times.
Look, for me, I think that the best part of the weekend was catching up with you guys, meeting friends and people that I only knew from online, and getting to meet people, and Melbourne City Wrestling. Melbourne City Wrestling was the highlight of the night for me. I can't wait for you guys to see the highlight of the weekend for me. I can't wait for you guys to see on demand the Robbie versus Gino match, because that Robbie Eagles versus Gino match and the subsequent shenanigans afterwards was amazing, and the crowd was insane, and it was everything that live wrestling should be, and that whole show had ebbed and flowed and built to a perfect emotional crescendo where everyone and granted, they only had to take 700 people on the ride, not 70,000 people. And like I said, it's a lot easier to take a smaller number of people on the ride you want them to go on.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's... I mean, you can't say that for me, the WWE wasn't better because they took 70,000 people on a ride, and that's so much harder to do. No, because you took 70,000 people on an average ride. I'd rather go with 700 people on an incredible, mind-blowing, orgasmic experience of a ride.
Yeah.
So I want to just quickly take hats off to the Melbourne City Wrestling crew for both Melbourne City Wrestling and Wrestle Rock Wrestle Brunch. Because, I mean, Aussie Graps is as strong as ever. We had, for the first time ever, 3 Aussies on a WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That was good.
Right? And all 3 of them won. One of them walked out with a championship. It was a very emotional night. A great weekend for Aussie wrestling with Melbourne City Wrestling, with Wrestle Rock, and then with Robbie capping it off today, becoming the newest member of the Bullet Club OGs. I think that's as good a place as any to leave it.
Yeah.
This is our 100th episode.
It is.
100 episodes. So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, can I just give a quick shout out? This is going to sound all soppy and shit, but I won't make it too bad. I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to my wife this weekend. Corey, you gave a nice little shout out to your mum before. I'm going to give one to my wife. She drove nearly, I'm not a driver, so she drove nearly 20 hours worth, nearly 10 on Friday, 10 on Monday, 10 today. And yeah, she's not a wrestling fan. Yes, it was also our anniversary weekend, and we always wanted to get down to Melbourne for a weekend. So we used both reasons to get down there. But she drove 20 hours as a non-wrestling fan to get me to 2 wrestling shows. She sat there during Wrestle Rock, not knowing a single thing other than Robbie and Caveman. And, so big thank you to my wife this week. Thank you, Mrs. Mikey.
Now I feel like I got to give some kind of emotional shout out. Shout out to my kids for being good enough that I didn't come home to a completely mentally broken partner.
There you go.
Does that count?
Very good. Very good.
That counts. There we go. Thanks for being good, kids. No, that does it. It's our 100th episode. We are done. It's been a big one. We're done, but you're not done because we sent out the feelers and we asked you what you thought of Super Showdown if you were there. And a few people have sent us in some stuff, and we're going to let that roll before we play our final credits. And, just a little something special for episode 100. 100 of these things. Here's to 1,000 more. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey everyone, this is Todd Eastman from Wrestle Radio Australia. There are two highlights of the weekend for me. One was seeing a guy I love like a brother, Adam Brooks, shine bright in a match that could literally have been a turning point of his career, and Buddy Murphy, his best mate, who made history in front of 70,000 people that if they didn't know who he was before, they definitely do now. And number two for me, it was just a personal thing. I just got to be a fan for the weekend and to go out and enjoy professional wrestling. For someone like me who generally wears multiple hats on show days, it was an amazing feeling to not have to worry about what's going on with this guy, or do I have to try and catch up with this guy for an interview, or do I have to film a promo over here. It was great just to relax, have a few drinks, catch up with some old friends, because so many people came from pretty much every promotion from around the country. It was so good just to sit down with some of these guys and have a beer and chat and talk about what wrestling's like in their neck of the woods. So there are the two highlights for me from this weekend.
Dan Holohan here, part of the B Plus and also Heel Turn Wrestling TV. I went with Greg to the big Melbourne Super Showdown hosted by WWE. It was a huge event. To me, it was more like a gigantic house show apart from the Buddy Murphy match, which was really good. The nostalgic ending with The Undertaker and Triple H was also good. I'd definitely go back to another big event in Melbourne. It was well worth it, and hopefully I can do it again sometime. Cheers.
Hey everyone, my name is Ibs and I'm a very proud B Plus player. I've been tasked to talk about my weekend in Melbourne, and I can tell you what an amazing weekend. I'm still trying to get my voice back. I was lucky enough to go to MCW in the Super Showdown, so I'm going to do a quick rundown on MCW. Wow, what an absolutely amazing event. These guys know how to put on a damn good show. All the starting matches were great. The Adam Brooks and Slex match was up there, and one of the best matches I've seen live. The way those guys worked between heel and face, and they both showed different... it was absolutely unreal. One of the best matches I've seen live. The guy with the soccer gimmick was pretty cool. It was very, very entertaining. For such a serious show, to have that thrown in there was absolutely unreal. Other than Jonah Rock being an amazing wrestler, his theme song is absolutely madness. The whole weekend, me and my mates could not stop saying Cinco, Cinco, Cinco. His theme song is unreal. He has a presence about him, which I love. And I'm sure it's probably been said many times before, but Robbie Eagles would have to be the most underutilized talent in the world. He is absolutely unreal. Working with someone like Gino, who's obviously a much larger guy, and Robbie just knew how to work that match to perfection. He had everyone on their feet. Like, it was at the end of a madness of 4 hours. Everyone was quite tired, but he just managed to lift everyone. He's an absolutely amazing worker. I'd love to see him in New Japan sometime. I was kind of hoping that Greg's theory about him joining the firing squad was going to come true that night, but it didn't come to fruition. But honestly, he's so damn good. He's good at talking. He's amazing in the ring. He's a great seller. Like, there's nothing that I can say bad about Robbie. If we're going to say one thing that I didn't like, and that's probably just me being lazy, I hated standing up for 4 hours. My legs and feet were absolutely toasted, but the place was rammed, the crowd was hot, and I just got to give credit to MCW because that was an absolutely epic event. Now, on to Super Showdown. I was pretty excited for Super Showdown. I spent quite a fair bit of money on my ticket. Me and my friends spent quite a fair bit of money on our tickets. We were very excited. I've been a WWE mark pretty much my whole life, so having a WWE event to this scale in my home country was absolutely unreal. From the minute I walked in, I had goosebumps. Seeing that many people, that many wrestling shirts, it's something I'd never ever think I'd see. And the minute you walked in, you felt like you were part of something quite special. Like, As I said, like, I've never had that. I've been to SummerSlam, I've been to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and they were absolutely amazing. Been to Raw, which was absolutely unreal. But this is, I think, just being close to home and knowing that this is our event, I think made it that much better. And I may never be able to go to a WrestleMania, but I kind of feel like I already have. I'm going to start off with a couple of negative things that I personally didn't like. Number one, there was no pre-show matches. I thought that was kind of lame. I think this would have been a really, really good opportunity for the WWE to tap into the Australian market. Now, this is something they don't have to put on TV. Maybe have a battle royal of Aussie wrestlers. Or another little idea I had was Titus Worldwide coming out. So you've got Dana, Apollo, and Titus coming out saying, we're worldwide, we're challenging everyone. And then, boom, the Mighty come out and Rhea Ripley come out. We have a mixed tag match. Little good warm-up match. It doesn't even have to be on TV. It can be just for the live audience, just to keep us entertained for that time. I was seated on the floor, and I'm a massive fan of the spectacle. I love entrances. I probably enjoy entrances sometimes more than the actual wrestling. And sitting on the floor, I could not see anyone walk in, which was kind of disappointing. So that's something WWE could probably learn from, maybe have the ramp a little bit elevated. And lastly was missing out on a few big stars, like not seeing Shinsuke, Finn, Randy. I'm not a Randy Orton fan, but I knew a few people who were that didn't get to see him. I just thought there had to be some way to get them on the card. But that's it for the negatives. Like I'm looking at it positively, and it was an absolutely amazing event. I love the atmosphere. I've actually rewatched the event on the network, and it didn't do the crowd justice for actually how loud they were. I think because the MCG is so kind of spaced out, it was kind of created a disconnect between the different groups. But where we were sitting, the crowd was rowdy. Absolutely loved it. I actually got to see Undertaker's entrance. I never thought I'd ever see that in my life. Obviously, thinking he probably retired after his match with Roman. So seeing that live, hearing the dong, seeing the fire was absolutely epic, and I'll never forget it. As much as people probably dislike her, Ronda Rousey is an absolute star. The minute she jumped into that ring, everyone just lifted. She's actually doing really, really well in the ring. For someone who's only been wrestling for a really short amount of time, she's picked it up like really, really quick, probably in the same speed as Kurt Angle, and really enjoyed her in that match. I thought she was really good. Loved our homegirls, the Iconics, representing PWA, so that was great to see. And last but not least, Buddy fucking Murphy. Mate, I have never ever been a part of a crowd that was so electric for someone, from him walking in, during the match, and the pop that he got when he won that match was absolutely outstanding. He's amazing. That was the best match of the night. The atmosphere was great for him, and it was great to see the home crowd cheering for him. That's it from me. It'd be curious to see if WWE does something like this again. I think it'll be quite hard to pull this many people again. I think the nostalgia of Taker and Trips probably drew that many people, but I don't doubt it. I hope to see it again, and thanks for allowing me the time to talk about it. Thanks, guys.
Hi everyone, this is Wayne from the B Plus Players, still down here in Melbourne after a big weekend thanks to the WWE Super Showdown. Great weekend, great card all overall. Excellent seeing the Aussies out there, especially the big win by Buddy Murphy. But I have to say, my most memorable moment would be seeing The Undertaker for probably the final time I'll ever see him. I did see him back in Sydney on a SmackDown show several years ago. That was the first and last time I seen him. Great weekend, huge event. Hope they do it again, and I'll probably see a few of you at the next one. Thanks.
Hey, this is Jack Aubrey from Sydney. I went to Super Showdown with a few mates from work. So a couple of hours after we landed in Melbourne on the Thursday morning, we were able to see Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Elias, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose at Doherty's gym, which was around the corner from the Crown, which I was staying at. We were able to get a couple pictures with Drew, Bobby and Elias. There was quite a few people there, so we weren't able to see everyone, but that was pretty cool. There were quite a few billboards around the city promoting the event throughout the week, and heaps of people repping the WWE shirts. On the Friday, my mates and I also got to chill with Buddy Murphy for a couple minutes right next to the pop-up shop at the Crown. He was just walking past, we saw him, legged it, caught up with him, got a couple photos, talking for a bit. We got to see him again at the MCW show that night. On the day of the event, my mates and I were just wrestling in our hotel room, and I actually dislocated my knee. So the rest of the trip, I was strapped up and in crutches, so that was a bit of a downer, but I knew I wasn't going to miss the show, so I just fought through the pain and just went with it. I actually got a WWE tattoo of a ring rope and a turnbuckle on my wrist with the date of the event, the 6th of October 2018, so I'll definitely treasure that. The highlights from the event itself pretty much were the entire Buddy Murphy-Cedric Alexander match. The crowd was just so invested from the entrances right up until Buddy walked to the back. It was just such a special moment that the Aussie crowd really enjoyed, and that was probably the biggest highlight wrestling-wise and storyline-wise. Elias's promo was particularly awesome, and his quick play of AC/DC's Thunderstruck really popped the crowd. We actually sang along with the tune. But you'd think him reminding us that Collingwood lost the AFL Grand Final last week would get him a ton of heat, but there were more cheers and boos just because of how enjoyable he is to watch, so there's pretty much nothing he could say that we'd get to boo him, whereas Kevin Owens, within 5 seconds, we were just chanting, "You're a wanker" at him, which is pretty funny. I can't not mention one moment from the event, which was 2 kids in the crowd having a match that the crowd got super into. There were AAs, spears, suplexes, and backdrops onto the hard floor, which is just awesome to watch. The crowd really ate it up, but the biggest highlight, which I'm sure everyone will agree with, was just able to not only see Undertaker wrestle for, which is probably the last time in Australia, but to also be able to see his entrance. The feeling I got when the gong hit and I saw him walk down the ramp is just something you can't explain. The moment at the end when the 4 legends, Kane, Taker, Shawn and Triple H, stood together in the ring was simply awe-inspiring and amazing, and something I'll never forget. There were great moments and some frustrating moments in the show, but it's nowhere near as bad as some people have reviewed it as. It was nowhere near a bad show, but there were parts that could have been better. But all in all, it was an amazing experience that I was glad to be a part of, and I can't wait for another event to come back to Australia.
Hey everyone, it's Andrew from Melbourne here, and I'm a B+ player, and I'm here to talk about the WWE pay-per-view Super Showdown that was in Melbourne at the MTG, which I was in attendance for. I thought overall it was a great event. I didn't go in with the highest expectations. I thought it was just going to be a lousy house show, but I was quite blown away with the actual attendance of 70,309 people, I think it was. And the atmosphere was amazing from where I was sitting. I was sitting on level 1 at the G, so it was quite good seats. Everyone was hyped around me. First match I thought was decent. You know, I'm a massive fan, and always have been, of Kofi Kingston. I love seeing that man perform, especially with the New Day and against Sheamus and Cesaro, who are an extremely great tag team. And then being able to see Charlotte take on Becky Lynch, that was amazing. I love both of those women. Charlotte got a mixed reaction coming out. I did cheer because I do love her, but a lot of people around me were booing. But Becky did get a massive pop when she came out. A lot of people around Australia and around the world obviously love Becky Lynch and love what she does, and thought that was a good end result. Obviously going with the full Becky heel turn, which I like. I like Becky as a heel. I mean, I prefer Charlotte as a heel, but something new, something that we haven't seen from Becky, so it'll be interesting to see where they go to from here. Then we moved on to Bobby Lashley and Cena versus Elias and Kevin Owens. Elias's pre-match promo was unbelievable as always. A lot of people in attendance really loved that he hung a bit of crap on Collingwood for their grand final loss the week prior. And Kevin Owens on point as usual, getting the crowd hot and behind what he's saying. And then we had Bobby Lashley come out, very uneventful crowd, didn't really get behind Bobby or much of what he did, but we got no matter where you are in the world, you're always going to get a mixed review from the old John Cena, and that's what he provided. And he didn't do much, but, he got the big pop, and obviously the boos came in when he came in and did what he had to do. But according to what I've heard, he didn't take any bumps just because of he's currently still filming a movie with Jackie Chan, I believe. And WWE assured the production that Cena would not be injured and would not take a bump. And we got a very weird promo from Cena afterwards, which makes you really think about where he's going to be in the next year and what's going to happen with Cena in the future. So interesting times for Johnny Cena. Then we got the Aussie girls finally come out, the Iconics against Asuka and Naomi. A pretty uneventful match. I do miss the way that Asuka used to just kick the crap out of people. Let's just hope she gets back on track in the next few months, because she's an unbelievable performer and probably had my favourite match at WrestleMania this year. So let's hope. Then we get to the part of the show that I was very upset about. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. I love both of these men. 10 years ago, who would have thought we'd be seeing AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship in the middle of the MCG. That was mind-blowing, but not a fan of the result. I really, really wanted Joe to win. I love Samoa Joe. I love what he's been doing with AJ's family and everything, and now it just seems like they've completely put a nail in the coffin of Samoa Joe. It was disappointing. No, I love AJ. Nothing against AJ. Just I really wanted Joe to become a champion right there, right then. And, it just didn't happen, unfortunately. Let's see where they go to with Samoa Joe, because I just don't know what they could do to get people interested right now. Then we move over to the match that I didn't watch. The Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey versus the Riot Squad. I left as soon as everyone had their entrances. The Riot Squad didn't really get a reaction. The boos for the Bellas. Cheers for Ronda. A couple of boos. I went to the toilet for this one because I really needed to go. But, I caught the end of it. I like Ronda Rousey. I do. I really like what she does bring to the WWE, but her facial expressions just, I don't know. They're just not, they just look so fake and so put on. Obviously, she needs to work on things, and I think she will, because I enjoy Ronda Rousey a lot in the WWE. Then we get to the absolute highlight of the evening for a lot of people that I've talked to about the WWE Super Showdown, with Buddy Murphy being crowned the Cruiserweight Champion in his hometown in front of 70,000 people. His hometown, if you're from Melbourne and you're listening to this, even Australians even, you know what it means, what the MCG means to people. It is the holy ground, the sacred ground. And just to be someone who grew up in Melbourne and to win a WWE Cruiserweight Championship in the middle of the MCG, what a performance. The crowd was really hot. They were so behind Buddy, and the pop when the 1, 2, 3 was counted was huge. And everyone in attendance was up cheering on their local boy. Good on you, Buddy Murphy. You deserve this, mate. And let's hope they give you a good run with some great matches behind you, because I think you deserve it as much as anyone else in the Cruiserweight division does. Then we move to Shield versus Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. They're pretty decent. They tease the Dean Ambrose heel turn again. I really hope that they tease this, and then Roman spears the crap out of the both of them, and he turns heel. It won't happen, we know it, but, a guy can dream. I really hope that they give us a Shield triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Universal title. I think that could be amazing. They did it at a B show a couple of years ago, which I didn't think it deserved to be at a B show. That deserves one of the big four. These guys are absolutely amazing. I love them all. Let's hope we get there, you know. Dean as a heel, though, would be quite interesting, but I'd love to see him, as Vince Russo would say, a swerve. But I don't see it happening. But we can dream. Then we move on to one of the other disappointing moments of the night. Daniel Bryan beating The Miz for 2 minutes and 25 seconds. I am a massive Miz fan and was just gut-wrenched by this. I like Daniel Bryan, but I think The Miz deserves another title run. He might get it. This might be just a little fence that he's got to climb over, but good on Daniel Bryan. What a story. To come back from retirement and everything. Good bloke. Gotta love him. So, yeah, that was kind of good. But then we had the main event. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Cerebral Assassin, the COO, taking on the Dead Man, The Undertaker. For what it was worth, this match was amazing. It was slow, yes, but my God, it had you glued. Yeah, just you glued to the whole thing. Kane didn't have much involvement, which was odd. HBK had a lot. I loved the HBK and Undertaker dynamic. It was just, as someone growing up, you watch it. These guys, these four guys, are just amazing. And to see HBK live, to see The Undertaker live, Triple H I've seen live before. And I've seen Kane live before, but to see Taker and Shawn Michaels live was a treat. Overall, I thought the show was amazing. 70,000 people all loved it, from what I heard, from the reactions and everything. Let's hope we get it back next year. Let's hope we get other stars back next year. Finn Balor, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, Bobby Roode. If I miss anyone, I'm sorry. But let's hope we get more of those guys out. And thank you, WWE, for bringing this out. I thought it was a great night. I went with 5 people. They all loved it. Had a great time, and we've all agreed that if it comes out again, definitely going. I've agreed with my girlfriend that even if it comes back out to another city in Australia, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane, maybe Adelaide, but maybe not. But we will go, depending on the card. But I thought it was a great show, great evening. It inspired me to get my butt over to WrestleMania one year, even the Royal Rumble, one of the big 4. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts of the WWE Super Showdown in Melbourne. I enjoyed presenting it. I enjoyed talking about it. I haven't stopped talking about it since. And I'm going to rewatch it again in the next coming days. Thank you very much.
Hey there guys, my name is Josh Robinson. I am from a small town called Kadina in South Australia. It's close to Adelaide, so we'll just say I'm an Adelaide boy. I've been a pro wrestling fan for over 18, 19 years. I've watched it for the majority of my life. I actually went to the Super Showdown. It was obviously my first pay-per-view, being in Australia and whatnot. So I went to the Super Showdown and I thought it was an amazing show. I actually have my own wrestling podcast, which is called Wrestling Reverb, which I'm going to shamelessly plug, is available on all your favorite devices and podcast streaming services. Yeah, I went to the Super Showdown and I thought it was a real fun show. For the most part, the atmosphere is undeniable. WWE's production value is undeniable. They know how to create a live show and a television show for that matter. I thought for me, I mean, and for I think majority of a lot of people that I've kind of chatted with about it, Buddy Murphy's win was probably the best moment. It was probably the best match on the whole card too, to be honest. That match was really, really good. I hope it makes more people pay attention to 205 Live, because they do put on those kind of caliber of matches all the time. Nonetheless, that was probably my favorite moment of the whole night. I think for me, it was so hard to digest the fact that I was going to a WWE pay-per-view or network special, whatever the hell you want to call it now. But it was just so different. It was such a different experience. I've been to live events, when they've come to Adelaide, and I've even gone to Melbourne a few times just for live events, and that's still a great show, and I still really enjoyed it. It's more so the fact that this was a pay-per-view, this was on the network. I had people, back home watching this on the network, and I was there. I was one of those 70,000 people that were there. And for me, that was like the hardest thing to process. It was just weird. I watched it back, see how the crowd came across on TV. I think we come across relatively well. I hope we get more of this because I'll definitely be going. Obviously, seeing Undertaker and Triple H was something that I never even dreamed of seeing, and that was fun. I thought the match itself, I don't want to bring anything down because I still enjoyed the match. I thought it was slightly overbooked. I think there was a little too much going on, but it sets up for, Crown Jewel and wherever they're going with that. So I understand what that is. I'm a big fan of women's wrestling. I have been, the 18 years that I've watched pro wrestling. It's probably always been my favorite thing, even in the, slow down days of the whatever. I love that Becky and Charlotte. Becky Lynch is my favorite superstar, male or female, at the moment. There's not really anyone, more consistently better than Becky. I like the finish. I like where it leads to Evolution. I love seeing... probably going to get some heat for saying this, but I'm actually a Bella fan. I think they bring value from the mainstream audience. It brings more eyes in. They bring in a different demographic and stuff like that. I see their value. I see why people don't like them, but I am one for... I don't think they should be wrestling all the time, but I think for what it is, for the most part, I think the Bellas should stay. They got a huge boo. Ronda's really overly just a joy to watch. I love the riots. There was just so much that I liked. I liked AJ and Samoa Joe. Bryan and Miz was what it was. It was awkward. I didn't even know the match finished. It was just a fun atmosphere. It's something that I'd really like to go to again. I'll never recreate that feeling from anything else. That's my first time for that. It was just a fun show. I'm glad everyone kind of universally that was around me in my section of the audience was very into it. But yeah, for the most part, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do more things like this. And thanks for you guys letting me have my little 2 cents on this, and peace out.
Hold one! Arm drag! You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon. You just made the list! Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy! Goodbye and good night. Hold 2! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy! Hold 3! The moss-covered, 3-handle family conundrum! Mamma mia! It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin! Number 4, armbar!